Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
Fucking A.
How the hell is everybody?
What a way to start the day.
Oh,
Well,
Australia Day. That's the only time I'll say it.
Yeah, I did want to touch on that I had started out with Australia Day, but found out that was a lot more emotionally charged than I had initially realized. So without having some Australians here, I thought it was maybe something that I should not be getting into.
So I can't say kipping in the dunny. It means falling asleep in the bathroom for the uninitiated.
Yeah, I think it was Vagrant Sam who suggested. I think it was Vagrant Sam who suggested instead that we celebrate that on May 8th.
You know, even here,
maid culture in Australia,
where I live in California, no one says Columbus Day anymore. They say Indigenous People Day. So I understand how it is to be culturally sensitive and, you know, to not honor these people who literally raped and pillaged and committed genocide.
Yeah. Well, and I was aware there was some culture from, you know, like last year, but I didn't quite realize how deep the sentiment was running down there.
That's communism. That's just a critical race theory.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
You know-
don't even. No. I don't need that. No, not yet. Yesterday, I'm in the dialysis chair, and across the room, I see this bright red baseball cap with the MAGA, and it's a damn good thing I had 2 needles in my arm because I was about ready to fly across the room and put my fist through the guy's face.
Do you get a lot of that where you live?
Unfortunately, a significant amount, yes. Allegheny County is reasonably blue. However, I could throw a rock and hit Westmoreland County, which is, what's the word I'm looking for?
Racist?
That's true. Yeah, reliably red.
Yeah.
Put it. Yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota is generally a blue state, but I live in a red county. We've got all Republican representatives here.
A lot of that stuff is slowly fading its way out. I used to see a lot more red hats. I don't see them as much. And it's the youth and people who aren't old enough to vote who are wearing it, at least around here. I see a lot of people.
Did I tell you guys about this? I said it on my show a while back. At Walmart a few weeks ago, I actually saw a MAGA yarmulke.
What?
Yes.
Okay, so
this Jewish guy about 90 years old at the yarmulke with the MAGA and the Trump, and it was like, what the hell?
You had mentioned that in another stream, and I'd never heard of that before. And I still don't get it, because if there's one thing that the MAGA people are against, it's religious freedom.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, that reminds me of Elder Sanchez. I was at Walmart and I saw a group of Mormons, which is not rare because I live in a Mormon neighborhood, and they had their outfits on and everything. And I turned around and I saw a young Hispanic gentleman, and he was he had his name tag and everything. He was in the Church of Latter-day Saints. And I walked up to him and I said, "Do you know where you are?" I said, "Do you need help? Can I help you?" He laughed so hard. I had never seen a Hispanic full-fledged Mormon before. You know, I thought it was an exclusively white religion.
Yeah.
And I was like, it shocked me. It utterly shocked me when I saw him.
I thought the Hispanics were reliably Catholic as well. No?
Well, right now in Mexico, they're going through a bit of a revolution. Evangelical Christianity is taking over.
Oops.
And the Mormons have moved into northern Mexico, but I don't know if you guys saw, there was like a family of Mormons who were shot because the cartels were sending a message like, you guys are not allowed to colonize Mexico, because the Mormons, they do missionary work around the world.
Yeah.
And so the Mexico kind of sent, well, it wasn't Mexico, it was the people from Mexico trying to send them a message like, just because you have the money to move here doesn't mean that you should, you know. So it's Mexico, it's crazy right now. Evangelicals, religion in general are because Catholicism is stale and it's old. And if you go into the church on January 1st, if you look in the epistle, it'll tell you what's going on that whole year in the church.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
they have a whole calendar.
So in Mexico, it's losing its ground when it, but let's be real, the Catholic Church has had a hold on Mexico since its inception.
Yes.
Since they called it Mexico,
The Catholic Church kind of invented Mexico.
There's there's an exhibit in the MOCA. I don't know if it travels around anymore, but it's called Creating Race. And it shows how the Hispanics created what we consider the Hispanic race in in quote unquote modern time.
Oh my, okay. There's
Talk about genocide. So we went from Australia to the Catholic genocide. happy, joy, huh?
Oh yeah. Easy am I not to know it.
I didn't realize the genocide and stuff that Columbus took part in until probably high school. It was just not something that was talked about back then.
Right.
He was
But I learned back in like 3rd or 4th grade that Columbus discovered the West Indies, and from that day on I wondered, well, what the fuck are we celebrating this for? He didn't discover America.
Yeah, by all accounts, Columbus never actually set foot in North or South America, only on the islands.
Yeah, Hispaniola. That's it. That's literally where he got exiled too, on his island, when they found out how much of a shit he was. And Columbus is actually
and he largely paved the way for the slave trade of
that would
taking
be like
slaves from the Caribbean islands to work plantations.
That would be like Indonesia celebrating Magellan Day.
Jenny, you can't say
that. I mean, at least Magellan got slaughtered.
I was drinking my coffee. I almost spit on my computer when you said that, Jenny. It's true, though. It's true. That's why my grandmother lived to be 99 years old. Okay. In Mexico, people celebrate Pancho Villa.
Okay.
Anytime his name was brought up, she had 13 sisters and 1 brother. My grandma hated the man. She said that he was a terrorist. He destroyed the country. And the only reason she moved to America was because she had 13 sisters and they weren't safe around Pancho Villa. So history's funny, and it depends on what side you're on and what you look like.
Absolutely.
I should take a moment here to check who we got in the side chat. I saw Doc Fearsome and Nerdy Rodent, Mark Caesar, Greg Hartwick. I know Slim was there for a moment. Slim, I sent you a link. Did I get everybody?
I see Jinju.
And Jyuni. I haven't been on my phone.
Hi, Jyuni.
Hey, Jyuni.
Oh, there's Jyuni. I see Jyuni.
And Jinzu.
Hi, Jinzu.
I'm not sure who Zumi is.
Hey, bro, you should.
Yeah, I've not seen that name before, but somebody knows who Zumi is because Zumi has a spanner. Hi, Isaiah.
Hey, remember, today we got to focus and do some modules, okay? We got to go all the way to 4 o'clock. I've been way too cool lately.
Oh, and then we have a message stating the Krabby Hermit says that he's not here.
Hey, buddy, I love you, and I love your haircut, too.
Hey, wait a minute. We haven't gotten into our usual winter weather gloating. How cold were you last night, Perp?
Oh, God.
Oh, I didn't really check. I only check when I need to go outside, so.
Let's ask my phone tap. Alexa,
okay.
What's the temperature right now?
Right now, it's 62 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, it is
By the
beautiful.
way, I can wake you up in the morning anytime
Alexa,
you want.
thank you. It's a beautiful 62. Oh, I got a
Hey.
song that time. I got
That
a
would be
song.
nice. 62, that's
It
a
is-
good temp.
It's a
Here's
beautiful
something
62
noteworthy.
degrees.
It got down
Apparently,
to, I think,
YouTube has restored the go to channel feature.
it got down to about 18 below here last night. So you were probably
Ooh,
more like the 20, 21 below.
when it's springtime in
And
Alaska.
my
Yeah.
favorite, Black River Falls, if I caught it at the right time, I think that their lowest temperature was 38 below.
This is why I am not there.
Don't make. Now I got the song stuck in my head. Springtime in Alaska. Great song. You guys should all look it up.
Currently in Pittsburgh, it is -8 Celsius, which is 17.6 in dog degrees.
Do you know what's so weird to me?
Okay, so
Every-
it sounds like right now it's colder there than it is here.
Okay, then.
So far, every weekend, well, actually, except for last weekend, I've gone to the beach and it's been sunny and at least 70 degrees in all of January. Oh, and by the way, I say this with love. My birthday is in 2 weeks. I'm just warning everybody for my, I'm going to have a full midlife crisis.
Oh,
Just
no.
warning everybody.
You hitting 40
Again.
again. Okay.
Okay, apparently I missed Krabby Hermit and Zumi as the ASCII artist formerly known as Christopher.
I will be officially entrenched in my 40s.
I remember my 40s. Reagan was president.
Mark Caesar.
Actually, no.
Do you know what's really funny is we're still feeling the effects of Reagan's policies in California to this very day.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you should be careful who you vote for.
Well, tell me about it, will you? I mean, the Supreme Court of the U.S. is going to be fucked up for the rest of my life anyway.
Oh, nerdy, I love you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. See, that's the problem, too. Like, because I work in the mental health field, for what Reagan defunded everything and just let people out on the streets, we
Yes,
still
I
feel the
remember.
effects of that to this very
Yeah.
day.
Mhm.
You know, ask any cop who was out 40 years ago. They'll say there was a difference in a place like Venice, California, where there was low to no homelessness, where as long as I can remember, it's been the homeless capital of Southern California. You know,
Okay, so what do you think of the idea of expanding the Supreme Court?
Personally, I'm rather for it. Yeah, on the basis of the judgeships per district. I think there are 13 districts now.
Yep, there are
I have a
13
question.
federal districts.
I have a question though. How many judges are we going to have, and will it be able? Will there be a cap? So, what about 100 years from now? Will we have 200 Supreme Court justices because every president
Yes,
adds
we
one
will.
on?
It's
Yes,
possible.
we will.
It is.
And since the idea has been brought up, that is going to happen anyway. Whether the Democrats do it now or the Republicans do it next time,
Oh, I guarantee
because it has been mentioned, you know, if there is ever a Democratic majority and we have a Republican president, they will use it.
You guys heard today's news that Stephen Breyer has announced his retirement?
I didn't
No.
see that,
No.
Yes, he has.
Hmm.
And so people are starting to float names, and Michelle Obama is hitting the top of the list right now.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I like that.
I stand for the
I should be
Obama.
as qualified as Kavanaugh or what's her name, Comey, or any of those bastards that Trump put in.
Well, here's the thing: you're going to extreme. I mean, Trump put in the arseholes, and now you've got little Miss What the heck is that story girl's name?
Oh, I forgot. The second she said she was Catholic, my ears tuned out. I forgot.
Yeah. But I mean, she's all sweetness and light, and it's like, no, we don't necessarily need sweetness and light, kids. We need some some reason on the bench.
Really quick to answer what Mark Caesar is saying in the chat. The problem is when, like, in America, okay, I work in the mental health field. I work for a nonprofit. My family runs it, but we still get subsidies, okay, because we house 108 mentally disabled adults. So every time a Republican comes into office, they defund children and special needs people in general, at least in California. And this is something I've seen in my own lifetime. Arnold Schwarzenegger almost served a death blow in the 90s to my parents' field, which is now my field. But my whole point is, even with a facility such as mine, which is like semi-privately funded, we still need help. And when they cut the funding, like what Reagan did, it screws us over and people end up on the streets. And then you get mentally ill. People with Down syndrome, people, they were throwing people on the streets in the 80s who need to be in a facility.
Oh, I remember. I have been in the mental health system, and as a matter of fact, I was warehoused in a state hospital because I was homeless.
Yep.
This was in '89, and from my personal experience with Mark's question, what I saw was that the goal of the mental health system around here anyway was management rather than...
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
And when Reagan defunded all those programs is when we started hearing about the homeless problem.
When Reagan was campaigning for his first term in 79, 79, whatever the fuck. One of the things that him and Nancy were pushing all the time is, volunteers make America great, and they can replace all of this stuff, and volunteers are great. Everybody should volunteer. Well, my job at that time was a coordinator of volunteers for an agency that used nothing but volunteers to produce a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 project for crisis intervention and hotline work. And in the very first round of cuts, my job and my program went bye-bye.
Exactly.
Well, Reagan was also the one who started the push for, churches can take over this stuff. The government doesn't have to do it. So let's give money to churches so that they can do this work instead.
Hey, Slim, he also did the whole welfare queen trope.
Yes.
He literally invented it.
Please believe how sincere I am when I apologize for being a Republican and a Reagan supporter at that time. I think the only reason I could do that was because I was comfortable. My wife and I had a damn good living.
I tell my son that all the time because he gets caught up in these mass movements. And I tell him one of the reasons that you're able to get caught up in these movements is because you live in privilege. Mm-hmm. If you lived on the other side, you would literally have the polar opposite view. You would be like, F those guys.
Yeah.
Spectrum's telling me my bill's ready and I already paid it. I shouldn't have signed up for the alerts. I should not have hit that button.
I know it's weird to see me with clothes on and a mask. Huh?
Almost didn't recognize you.
Yeah. What happens when I'm at work? I'm at work. This is the warehouse that I work in. So
Hey, Slim.
Hey. I'll show you some stuff in a second.
I was about to do my hello. Is there anybody out there? Whenever I hear an echo, I start singing.
Oh, is there an echo? Sorry, let me change that.
That's okay. Oh, that's awesome.
Traju korostu.
Oh, heck yeah.
Is that better? Is there an echo still?
Hello.
Okay,
No,
so
I-
there's
what,
no
you're
echo.
Still
preparing
too small
bones?
for me to tell what it is. What are we looking at?
Oh, I have like cow skulls, and I'm texturizing them.
Oh, okay, okay.
A Little
Awesome.
Mermaid.
Oh, that's
Viking.
sick. Oh, that's awesome.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm rubbing shoe polish. I take shoe polish and I rub it on there, and then what we do is we rub it off. So that's what the finished product looks like.
So what is that, to artificially age them or something? Or
Yeah, to make it look like bone, or to give it texturing and age. And then
Okay.
we do it
Yeah.
in the silver as well. So
Oh, that's sick.
This is pretty much the same way Piltdown Man was made.
yeah.
so that's what I do during the day, is make all this fun stuff.
That's
Oh,
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome.
yay! I
That's
hope it's.
awesome.
I hope it pays the rent.
I love artsy and crafty stuff.
Well, the fun thing is, I work with my father, and when I get paid to do festivals and conventions swallowing a sword, they give us a free booth space, so we get to sell all this artwork, and it's pretty much 100% profit. So yeah, it helps pay the bills. Sword swallowing is really where I make my money, but selling stuff on the side with my dad is fun.
Many much moo.
That's awesome.
I mean,
That's
there's
awesome.
enough work in sword swallowing that you can support yourself.
Jenny, you asked it. I was thinking it.
Not year round. So for 2 months out of the year, November and December, I don't have work, but I have 6 gigs coming up. I have a wedding reception Sunday.
Oh, wedding?
Yes, a wedding.
Okay.
I do weddings. Then there's a mystical festival coming up. I think that's what it's called, for tarot reading and stuff like that. So they hired me for that convention. Then we're doing a motorcycle show down in Denver.
Oh,
Then I
heck yeah.
have another event. So I'm booking gigs again. So yes, it does pay that well.
Wow. Well, I stand educated. Thank you. I had no idea.
When
Do
you
you ever
swallow
come
a
out?
sword,
Sorry.
when,
Do you ever
when
come out
we
to the
swallow-
West Coast?
I will be doing a West Coast tour very soon. When I do, I will let everybody know. We're going to go from Tijuana all the way to Canada, pretty much.
Fuck, yeah.
So we'll be up and down the coast.
I have friends and family that live in TJ. TJ is a lit place.
I
They'll love
ran
you.
I ran a club in Tijuana in 2001
Oh, hell
in
yeah.
Mexico. So I know all about Tijuana. Had lots of fun times there.
I lived in Sinaloa from the time I was 22 till I was 23.
I don't exactly know where that is, but oh, cool.
Who's doing what to whom and for how much?
It's like it's below Chihuahua. It's
Okay.
central. It's like central Mexico.
Okay, I know where Chihuahua is for sure. So yeah, okay.
I have a bunch of family that's from Chihuahua and Sinaloa, and I went down there and got an education. Kind of actually being down there influenced me to this very day of kind of turned me into me in a lot of ways.
Nice. Yeah, when you're the only sword swallower in the northern Colorado area, the only person people can go to without hiring somebody from out of state, which costs a crap ton more than me, they have to come to me. So I can pretty much charge what I want for my shows. So
That was my first thought, because like I was trying to think, because I used to go to festivals all the time until COVID hit, and I'm like, I've seen people swallowing fire, spitting fire, but I'm sword swallower in a while.
Yeah, I have to say the wedding surprised me. That's not an event I would have thought of, but
That's gonna be an awesome wedding.
I do all kinds of private parties. You'll be surprised. I just did a private business party. So they were having a Christmas party for a business, and they hired me to come out and perform for them. So I do lots of private parties, and I get paid a pretty penny. I mean, probably shouldn't be saying this, but sometimes when I do certain shows, I get paid $500 for a 20-minute set. So I work for 20 minutes and I make, pretty much rent and pay for my car and everything in 1 or 2 shows. And if I do 4 or 5 shows in the month, then I get to party for the next month.
Can I ask you a tech question?
Of course.
I know it's, or at least I don't think it's something you personally do, but I figure you probably know people who do it. What is the liquid that fire swallowers or fire breathers use?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I remember from spinning fire, and then I'm going to tell you what I think I remember that they use for swallowing and for spitting and for blowing. We use white gas for spinning fire because when it touches an object, it won't try to light that on fire, and the white gas won't put itself on other objects. So it'll pretty much stay on the wick that you have it on. So it's harder to burn yourself. Now, I'm going to say this, but ladies and gentlemen, anybody watching this now or later, do not try anything without professional guidance. Don't go off of anything I say, because I haven't done those acts in a couple years, but I believe that it's torch lamp fuel that you use for blowing, and kerosene you use for like fleshing and stuff like that. So there's different types of fuel that you use for different types of things. Yeah. But
I just wondered if there's something that was not right off the top toxic that they use, but obviously they use some very toxic, terrible things.
Yeah.
I had always thought it was just some form of alcohol. I didn't realize you were really, doing the kerosene and the gas.
Yeah, that is a misconception. And when I was in San Diego, I had friends who worked at a surfer gay bar. Pretty much, it was a bunch of buff dudes with no clothes on that would serve you drinks, and they used to do the alcohol spitting of the fire with 151. Yeah. Well, they almost burnt down their establishment because the thing fell over when a dude blew the fire, and it caught the whole bar on fire. And 151 and alcohols are too volatile. They burn too fast and too quick. That's why we use kerosene, lamp fuel, white gas, and there's something else that is used as well. So they burn a lot slower and a lower temperature as well. And that's the major thing to not burn yourself, is using a lower temperature fuel.
Well, that's the nice thing about ethanol, is it burns cool. Yeah.
Yes, but remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's no such thing as cold flame, which people like to say all the time. It just because it's a lower temperature doesn't mean it's a cold flame.
Right.
I remember back in high school, junior high school,
degrees regardless.
Back in junior high school, there was a bunch of macho shitheads that wanted to impress all the girls by spraying lighter fluid on their hand and lighting it and saying, well, yeah, I can do this. It's a cold flame. It's like, what? It's fucking blue, dude.
I used to do that as a party trick when I was a teenager, covering my hand in alcohol and lighting it up. It's surprised I never got any serious injuries from it.
Yeah, there is a mousse that I think you get from Canada. It has 99% alcohol in it, and it comes out in a foam, and we use that during fetish scenes when we do fleshing. So you can spray it on somebody's back or body part in a pattern and then light it on fire, and that fire will stay in that pattern. And all you have to do is take your hand and wipe it off, and it will put itself out. It's such a fun thing to use.
Did you say fleshing?
Yeah, so what you do is you will light the skin on fire after putting down either something to light your body parts on fire.
You just taught me something new. I'm putting it in the fantasy file for later, that's all.
Yeah, anybody who's interested in fetish fun stuff, check it out. Look up fleshing for fetishes or something. It's fun.
Because I had a stream called Edging for Christmas, and I was surprised on how many people didn't know what edging was. I was really surprised.
I didn't.
I'd never seen that kind of fire play done live. I'd seen videos of it. I had wondered.
Yeah,
what
I'm
they
a
were
little shocked to
using
hear
on
that fire play is a fetish.
Same. I'm
wish I could-
Googling it.
I wish I could
Oh, yeah.
share a photo because I have a photo on my phone of me doing it to one of my subs on her back. But if I can figure out how to share that, maybe I'll just share it in Purple's Discord. I don't know. I'll try to share it.
Yeah, if you send it as a DM on Twitter, I could probably share it with the group then.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And,
That's a good idea.
And for the uninitiated, it pops right up on Twitter. I'm sorry, not on Twitter, on Google. Our Lord and Savior Google.
Oh, good. I'm glad it does.
Okay, what's a flaming mo?
What? I'm out
It's
of
a
here.
Simpsons reference. It's a drink the bartender in The Simpsons invented.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know
great
what was
episode.
supposed to be in it.
That's
Yeah,
when
it-
Mo became famous the first time.
Yeah. It's just a flaming shot. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about lighting something and swallowing the flame and then taking the shot. And I was like, "Don't you burn? Wouldn't that burn your throat?" And I don't know. I've seen so many fire shots that people were taking that they've done it so unsafely and they've hurt themselves trying to do it. Please don't try to light
Yeah.
alcohol on fire. Please don't do that.
Well, and
That
also,
liter-
like Mark Caesar says here, what's the point in the drink if you burn the alcohol off?
People,
I
what
have
you need
so
to
many-
understand about alcohol burning is that the more pure the alcohol is, the more invisible its flame is. And
Mhm.
especially if you're in a daylight situation,
that is
alcohol
why-
can burn and you will never see the flame, but it'll just take you up like a torch.
Yes, if it burns cleanly, you don't see it. You only get the blue flame if it's got rather a lot of residue, unburnable carbon involved in the flame. Benadryl was the secret ingredient in a flaming mo.
Oh,
I'm taking notes. I'm just taking notes. I'm gonna send myself on vacation for my birthday.
Okay, it seems to me that if you're mixing Benadryl and alcohol, you're going to put most people to sleep.
Or something like that.
I was about to say it affects people differently. I'm so ADD that when I take downers, they really don't do much to me.
Benadryl
Like they
doesn't
do-
touch me.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh,
one of those funny
disappeared.
things.
Yeah, the Benadryl doesn't do anything for me. It will put Sloth Girl to sleep pretty reliably.
I think I'm immune to a lot of that stuff. Or I did so many drugs as a teenager that I bleached my system. I think about that all the time, but I consider it I'm just pre-embalming myself. I'm doing half the work. Oh damn it, it's me. Damn it. I am a conversation killer. So what's in the news, huh? Who are we mad at today? It seems like there's someone to yell at.
I heard another piece of good news. They are unnamed at this time that I know of. But one of the people who was very closely related to the situation with Congressman Matt Gaetz and the accusation of child trafficking has apparently pled guilty to what they were waving over their head and has agreed to testify to help themselves. Somebody's going down.
I won't believe it until I see Beavis in handcuffs.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh,
And he really does look
Oh,
like a Beavis, doesn't he?
that is hilarious. Yes, I've seen that thing. So that's using that hair mousse. I forgot what it's called off the top of my head, but you just put it on the body and you light it, and then it does these cool flame things, and you can just wipe it right off. So it's very, very safe.
Okay, as you said, it's from Canada. I'm going to assume it contains real moose.
Exactly. Yes. They get the moose drunk first, and then they make the. Never mind.
I
Wow,
walked up to
that's wild.
I walked up to a moose drunk one time, and I'm lucky to be alive.
Where the heck did you see a moose?
Good old Long Beach, Washington, in my rookie days. You know, when I started traveling, the world, all these mysteries started coming up, and I'd never seen an animal that large outside of a zoo, and I was hammered, and I remember it, but. We were drinking shots at Long Beach, Washington, which is the longest peninsula on the West Coast, supposedly. And I walked out of a bar, and in Washington, a beach town in Washington and Oregon is different than a beach town in California. It's much more mom and pop, much more. I got a heavy echo. Much more down home. So I turned around, and I'm like basically in the woods, and I see this land yacht. And long story short, I walked up to it, and everybody I was with was like, "Come back, you dummy!" But they were all too petrified to grab me because I was just walking towards it, and I walked right up to it. And it was so huge, I could have walked underneath it. And I'm 5'9", and I wear cowboy boots.
Yeah. Up in Michigan one time, we saw a moose crossing the highway driving out to my sister's. You didn't see him too much up there. A lot of people didn't actually believe me up there because they weren't used to them. In Minnesota here, they're fairly common.
There's a video that you can run into on the internet of this moose, and the title, the version of it I saw had a title on it of something along the lines of "Why you don't ever want to fuck with a moose and have it chase you." And it showed this moose running at top speed through snow that came up to its body, and and it just didn't slow it down at all. It just like it wasn't there.
Oh yeah, they could roll a car if they got a mind to.
That moose, it knew I was just a dumb American. I had the dumb American stamp on my head.
Well, and what Commander is saying here, my mom has an apple tree in her yard, and she has deer that come through there all the time. And yeah, I've seen the deer eating the fermented apples off the ground and start to stagger.
God, that's fun.
Funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's. When you live in the city, you don't see animals like that ever.
Oh, you do actually.
So when
Bastard used to have deer invade your backyard, and they were in fucking suburbia.
In the 80s, we used to have coyotes and cougars, but in Southern California, we've built up so much, we've pushed them out. We've literally pushed them out into the mountains. It's really sad. But when I started traveling, every time I saw something, like I was in Georgia, and these state troopers were literally off the highway shooting into the trees. So I asked the stupid question, what are they shooting? And there was this invasive species that was rat-like that was in the trees, and they were shooting them on sight. It was horrific when I saw one because it was like a puppy-sized rat. And to someone from the city, that's a horror movie.
It might have been one of the giant rats of Sumatra.
Yes, Jenny, I know that album.
Hey, you're joking, but I saw a wharf rat that was literally this big in Portland, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're real!" It was cat size. Oh,
Well, and again, here we've got some cougars around, and every now and then we do get one that wanders into the metro area, and they have to bag it and relocate it.
Same here.
Yeah, and they send it down to my neck of the woods.
They send the 20-year-old guys out as bait, right?
Yep. Somebody had
we got lots of cougars here.
It's crazy. It's crazy here what they've done to the animals. Actually, it's really sad because I love going to the beach. So I go to the beach all the time, and when you drive on the highway, you could every once in a while you'll see someone hit a cougar or a coyote and they just keep going. There was one time, gosh, it was a long time ago, but my ex-wife and I, we pulled over and called the city like there's a cougar laying on the highway here. And it was, it's strange to see a 180-pound cat.
Hey,
you
I
know.
would have to say that, if I hit a bear and wounded it, I would not want to get out of the car to check on it.
Oh, this thing was
Right.
muerte. This thing was done. It was dead. It wasn't it wasn't coming back. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
where I
go and
lived in
hug a cougar.
Syracuse, again, nobody else saw him because nobody else was up that late. But we had a small herd of deer that I'd see wandering the streets late at night. Just they only came out like between midnight and sunrise, so nobody else saw them.
We have a
Yeah,
very limited number of people in this neck of the woods who have a regular circuit of the highways that they travel in the county. And because they do it every day, they can tell when a deer is down fresh.
Yeah.
So they can grab it and butcher it.
Yeah, in some states you can get a roadkill license and you can drive around and pick up roadkill legally. And some people have roadkill restaurants in the South where they just sell meat that they caught from the highways.
Yeah, my grandma had a thing that she would cook roadkill, but she, as long as it was fresh enough, that if she saw it while she was driving into town, she wasn't sure if it'd been laying there all night. But if she didn't see it driving into town, but she saw it coming back out, she knew it hadn't been there more than 4 or 5 hours, so then she could cook it up.
Oh, I should mention that this is a winter activity around here.
So I have family members that live stream. They live in Savannah, Georgia, and they live stream themselves walking through the forest, and they'll either eat possum, rabbit, or something else that makes my stomach churn, and they'll live stream themselves cooking it in their kitchen.
Yep. Yeah, and I have seen several vehicles that were completely totaled by hitting a deer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I always say deer are stupid.
Don't hit turkeys either. They're way too big and solid. They're 40, they can weigh 40 pounds before they're butchered, and that'll go through your window and kill you.
No, I've seen more than a few deer totaled here in this neighborhood. I live along US 30, and more than one deer cut in half, basically.
Yep.
On the side of the road.
I was about to say, in my truck, I'm fearless. When I'm in my car, if I hit something, it would total my car.
I was filming a race event at Road America once, and a deer showed up and ran across the track during the race and didn't make it. And that was pretty messy considering the speed that the car was running.
The driver's front fender of my car has a dent the size of a basketball in it because a deer hit me. I did not hit the deer. The deer T-boned my car.
That's why I always say that deer, are idiots.
Yeah, I think he was trying to jump over the hood and didn't make it. So I think that was his shoulder that went into the fender.
Yeah, deer are not smart.
And the deer fell on the street and kind of spun around, and I was like sitting there because I was like, okay, what do I do? Who am I supposed to notify? And then after about a minute or so, it got up and wandered back into the woods. So
we have,
it was stunned for a minute, but it apparently hadn't broken a leg or anything.
The whole Wile E. Coyote thing is real because we have coyotes here that they stalk animals. They'll come back day after day. Deer are dumb. If you go north on the highway, you will see people hitting deer all the time.
A deer can show up anywhere, but if you're out and there is a deer crossing sign, believe it, because deer love to follow the same paths.
Yes. Yeah, they will form a very habitual path.
And if you see one, there's probably 5.
Yes. Yeah, they rarely travel alone unless you see a young buck. The bucks will tend to travel alone. The does will tend to stick together in herds of 5 or 10.
Hmm. Yeah, you get to learn all this neat stuff about nature when you live out here in the boonies.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
do this. Don't do
you're
that. Don't do
interacting
this.
with it on a
Don't fight
regular
this
basis.
animal. It's going to win.
Oh yeah. Don't run.
Yeah.
No, raccoons are not cute.
Oh,
No,
they're
raccoons
awful.
are
They're
vicious little assholes.
Dude, we have bounty out for raccoons in my neighborhood. Don't let me see one. I'll catch it with a 22. I hate raccoons.
I can't believe how many how big time they breed. I mean,
Oh,
raccoons you find in the summer especially. You see raccoons on the highway. God, every few miles you see another raccoon or two. And there's always a supply of raccoons. There's got to be tens of thousands in this county.
I had a neighbor. She was probably 5'4", a skinny. She's around my age. She's in her 40s. And one day I'm driving by and she's standing in front of her house holding her child. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, there's raccoons in my garage and they won't let me get in my car. These raccoons had taken over her garage. And we had to go in there and literally one by one take them all out. And
The last couple of months, where I was living in the house in Syracuse, the rats had figured out that they could come in the cat door to get the cat food in the kitchen.
There are cases of cougars.
Times I had to chase 4 or 5 raccoons out of the house.
There are cases of cougars that have moved into barns because they're nice and warm in the winter and got all that hay to laze around in and be protected. And if you got one, you pretty much lose your barn.
Yeah,
it'll stay there for years.
Yep.
What a freaking horror movie would it be where you open your barn door and there's an effing cougar in there? Like, wait a minute, I don't own you. Oh, that would be awful.
Here, would you like some tuna?
Yeah. Here, see, okay, at my shop, everything's metal. So a cougar couldn't just wander in unless the door's open, of course, but I would freak out if there was a cougar in my shop that I didn't invite her in.
Yep.
But I'm a city folk.
I hate when that happens. When I come home and there's a cougar just lying there waiting. Damn it.
And if you got a little bitty dog, you do not leave it out on a chain. You just don't do that.
No.
That's lunch.
There's too many very large birds here that look at them as just another meal.
Well, and again, the raccoons, I mean, even a mid-sized dog, because raccoons tend to travel as family packs.
Yep.
So, 4 or 5 raccoons will team up and take down a cat or a dog.
Now, if you got a possum living with you, those are pretty darn safe. They will make this snarly kind of noise and show their teeth, but they're big chickens.
Yeah.
And if you scare them, they'll do that possum thing, falling asleep, playing dead.
Yeah, they'll play dead.
Possums are actually very good. They eat ticks like crazy.
Yep.
And so if you have possums around, you keep them alive. They only live about 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, possums are actually good for controlling other smaller pests.
Yep. They're ugly buggers, but
oh, they're cute.
Well, yeah, in their own possum kind of way.
When we would go and hang out in the canyons in San Diego doing drugs as teens, we saw so many opossums, and we got to get them to play dead, and they were fun to kind of mess with. But yeah, we never hurt them or anything because they're a nice animal. So
Hey, Microraptor.
Hey,
sorry, I didn't see you come in. I hope you weren't sitting there for too long.
No, it wasn't even a minute.
Hi, Micro.
Hello. I smelled leather and body fluids. I saw Slim up here. Hi,
Zumi,
Jimmy.
I did a lot of drugs myself, so I see shadow people occasionally. And if you hit me in my spine, well, it's a guaranteed flashback.
Yeah, I've been having all kinds of fun things happening on the sides of my eyes because I'm getting so old and I did so many drugs. So I keep seeing all these weird shadow things on the outsides of my vision, but I know exactly what they are.
Exactly. That's why I don't freak out, because it's a byproduct of me destroying brain cells
Yeah.
in my youth.
Well, I get a lot of that with the sleep deprivation, that I start getting like hallucinations in the peripheral vision if I've gone like 2 days without sleep.
Oh yeah.
If I've gone more than 3 days, I can get the full blown hallucinations. Those are fun.
So whenever I get a fever, I full on hallucinate. Full on. That's how I know I'm getting sick, when I start seeing my ancestors.
If you're getting hallucinations with a fever, you're probably around 105, 106, and that's near death. Do something sooner.
Okay, Mark. The main difference is most of the animals in North America would rather avoid you than fighting. Things in Australia will charge you on sight.
Very true. Very true.
So true. Even a cougar does not want to fight you unless they're wounded, and if they're wounded, you're screwed.
Yeah. One of the funniest videos I've seen was a guy parachuting in Australia, and just as he's coming down to the ground, there's a couple of kangaroos that are like going past him, and when they see him coming down, they turn and they run straight into him. And just as he's down, three kangaroos jump up and kick his ass and wander away.
Sorry, go ahead, Slim.
I think I've seen that video and it's freaking hilarious. Yeah, they will try to attack you. The only thing out here, in the Americas that you kind of have to be worried is a pack of coyotes, because they may be hungry and but other than that, nothing's going to really try to get you.
No, nothing. Not even a raccoon. Yeah. They want to get away from
even the
me.
cougars and bears will tend to avoid humans unless they're really desperate.
Or their kids are near. If it's a mama bear, then you need to just get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But pretty much
Any
everything
animal
else.
protecting its babies, you don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the spring, you gotta watch that.
Isn't that Jenny and Diana for us, our mama bears?
Yeah.
That you are mama bears who will always protect us.
There we
Mama
go.
bear, yeah.
Well, I had that instinct myself when I was taking care of kids. One guy made the mistake of stepping between me and the shopping cart I had a toddler in. It's like, yeah, the guy shit his pants. I don't even clearly remember what I did, but the guy just totally lost it when he saw me.
Mhm.
I always walk away at the good part.
We were talking about mama bears.
I know a few of those. Be careful, mama bears. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but I mean, even small animals, I mean, even like a squirrel, if it's protecting its babies, is going to try to fuck you up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, years ago, my civvy, female kitty cat, boy, you got near her kittens, she would tear you apart. And she was only about 7 pounds.
That's that animalistic instinct to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's these little rodents here in Colorado up in the mountains called pikeys, something like that. There's these little itty bitty rodents, and if you get near their nest, they will charge you. These little itty bitty things will charge you and like squeak at you until you leave. It's so funny and cute because it's what you could easily just smash one without even thinking about it. But they try their hardest to get you to go away.
Do you know we have
Pika?
Yep.
Okay.
We have blue jays around here, And if
Oh,
you get near a blue jay, it literally will try to kill you.
Yes. Yeah.
They're insane. Cardinals too. Cardinals are so beautiful.
Yeah.
Don't go near them. Do not go near them. They will.
Oh,
they're
Blue Jays are insanely territorial.
They're the worst. They are. When I was a kid, I thought they were because in Southern California we get all kinds of birds during the winter. So if you ever want to bird watch, the Southwest is a beautiful place. Long story short, first time I ever really had a bad experience with the blue jay was in my backyard. It was building a nest, and I was just walking in my backyard. It attacked me. It literally attacked me. Blue jays are ornery birds. And yes, Mark, I know you live in Australia. But before Mark Caesar says it, I know you live in Australia, and I know magpies exist. But blue jays are evil. And my bird watching days were over after that.
Yeah, I forgot. We should have had Jenny in here tonight.
What?
Jenny's a dental assistant. We should have had her in here to discuss the dental drill appreciation.
I got a lot of work done as a child. I do not appreciate the dental drill.
Sloth Girl is, really has a phobia of dentists. Even if she has a problem, she doesn't want to go see one. And I can understand it. I've had my problems with them, but
I can
at
relate
this
to
point,
that.
I've just run out of teeth, so it's no longer an issue.
When I was, hey, Robert X, when I was younger, I had an extensive amount of work done, and it traumatized me. So I totally understand how somebody doesn't want to go to the dentist.
Oh, I was traumatized by a horrible dentist as a child, so it took me decades to get back to it. But yeah, you get to a certain level of pain, you need to have something done. So
I had braces on for 6 or 8 years as a teen with headgear and the rubber bands and all that crap. So I freaking hate the dentist because every time I think of all that pain they put me through.
Absolutely.
When I was a kid, our family dentist was one of those back in the days there that believed that children didn't feel pain, so you just deny whatever pain you're expressing. Just stop it. There, you don't feel anything.
yeah, I think that was the prevalent attitude in the 70s.
Well, this was the 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, it is.
It's quite honestly the exact opposite.
Yeah. Kids feel lots of pain.
I had all my teeth pulled, and I got fake dentures, which I found when my dad passed away. He weirdly kept them, so I have my fake dentures from when I was 6 years old.
Really?
So, I hate the dentist. Absolutely.
Why did you have dentures at 6?
My teeth rotted out of my. I didn't take care of my. Hey, how's it going? I didn't take care of my teeth at all as a child.
Yeah, well, mine rotted out, and I kept getting told it was because I was drinking too much pop, and it was like pretty much only after I lost him did somebody bother telling me that, oh no, that's common with somebody who's had the acid reflux for a long time.
Yeah, I had the same issue myself. I don't have any teeth right now either, and yeah, they rotted from the gums down. So the doctor said there was nothing I could do whatsoever to have saved them.
Yeah,
acid reflux is so bad because it is acid, and it literally draws the calcium out of your bones and teeth.
Yeah, it was because I was burping up the stomach acid that it took the enamel off my teeth.
Yep, same here.
I broke out a tooth trying to learn how to open beer bottles with my teeth, and I did it the wrong way.
Oh,
I don't
So
even
one of
want to
my-
hear that. No.
Yep.
Sweetie,
Oh
no.
man, you got to do the lighter trick. When I was in high school, we learned how to
Oh,
open up
yeah.
beer bottles with lighters. You know.
I broke so
No.
many lighters that way. I don't do it anymore.
Well,
With lighters. I don't
only
get that.
yeah, with lighters. How did you do with
I'll
what?
get an old
You
pop
take-
can
You
and I'll
take the
show you
bottom.
guys.
Yeah, you take the bottom of a lighter and you're supposed to push it like 90 degrees flat to it, and then you can like press it up and it will bend it open. It will open the
Every time.
bottom. Yeah, but
Oh.
I'm bad at it, so I break lighters doing it.
Almost every time. But like some said, I've ripped my thumb open. I used to drink a lot. And I haven't had a drink in a long time.
I used to
forgot
drink a
about
lot and I still do, but never mind.
I haven't had a
But yeah.
sip. I'm actually proud of myself. I haven't had a sip in 7 coming up on almost 8 years.
Congrats.
But I smoke pot like it's going out of style, so I'm no one's hero.
But yeah, I found out my teeth were rotting whenever I tried to bite into a pizza and ended up chewing on something hard.
Oh,
It was
I
just a
did that-
piece of pizza.
Oh, my back
like,
tooth
"What's
rotted
that?"
out, and I was eating a pretzel, and I bit down, and I'm like, "Why is this pretzel crunchy?" And it was my tooth.
Yeah.
story thought of the day. Each
Figure
time
out
you
how to
light
get
your
the-
lighter gets a little lighter until your lighter is so light it won't light.
Yes,
Absolutely. Mark
right,
Caesar. Mark Caesar is lucky because in Australia they get comprehensive dental care compared to in America. Like they will let your teeth rot out of your head. And
Yeah. In the
Wha-
US, even people who have fairly good health insurance, often dental is not covered.
it's separate for some reason.
It's never covered. I don't think there's a health insurance policy on the planet that
No.
covers dental.
No, because you need dental insurance. It's
Yeah,
considered a
it's basically
completely
only
different-
if you've got a good enough union to have the dental insurance additional.
True.
Medicare
Dental insurance is a joke. It hardly pays anything.
and Medicare Part B now covers dental, but yeah, it's Medicare, and they only cover I think it's like cleanings and partial dental work.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it
I-
covers like checkups and preventative. It doesn't cover
Yeah.
like getting fillings.
Yeah,
Well, I
It
have-
covers,
meanwhile,
dentures. It does cover getting dentures, but only a certain percentage of that you got to pay out of pocket for most of it.
A
I
couple
have
years
insurance.
ago.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, long story short, I have insurance, and even with my I'm fully covered. With the work I need, I would still have to pay like $100,000 or something insane, or just some like
Yeah.
insane. And my ex-wife got a brand new mouth, and it cost her like $70,000, and it took her years to pay it off.
Yeah,
Like in
Microraptor,
America,
were
it's
you
great.
trying to get in with something?
Moo?
Oh, you're breaking up. We can't make you out here.
So in America, we are
Oh.
not lucky. We're it's bad here. Like I
Yeah,
said,
Yeah,
I'm fully
that's,
insured.
Yeah,
America's
I
the
can't
worst.
even wear dentures because they literally said there isn't enough bone left on my lower jaw to hold them in place.
Oh, sweetie.
So the only way I could do it is I'd need some posts implanted to hold them.
Yeah, which they
And
don't.
yeah, that's
pay
an oral
for.
surgery that the insurance won't cover and would cost me about $18,000 out of pocket.
Yeah. They Medicare does cover normal, dentures, but they won't cover anything that requires surgery.
Yeah, Medicare
Unless
will
it's
cover
medically
making the
necessary.
dentures, but they won't cover anything that I need to before I can wear the dentures.
Yep.
Yeah, they told me that I had $1,000 to use for my dental. So a couple years ago, I was able to get a couple things in my mouth fixed, but I need to go back and get that fixed too.
Same. I need massive dental work, and even with all the insurance, it's still like outrageous. But in America, we price gouge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
there's
so I've
certain
just been learning to live without it.
2 months ago, my homie came over with his tooth was hurting, and I took pliers and yanked it out of his skull for him.
Oh God, come on. Let's stop dental stuff, okay, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
who's got a new
about
topic?
this is making my mouth hurt. I dumped my MAGA ex-girlfriend for the second time. We can talk about that. She weaseled her way back in my life, and I was on the rebound. We've been talking off and on for a while, and we keep on clashing over social issues.
I can imagine.
And anytime any kind of social issue gets brought up, it's a fight. And I'm one of those people. I do not volunteer for fighting people. Like if we're not living in the same house, like I'm just not going to talk to you, you know?
Yeah.
So I've made the choice to dump her again. So remember, they're an ex for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Well,
she drank the Kool-Aid though. See, Purple, here's the problem is that she was radicalized by Fox News. She's 50 years old and she's kind of like, you know, she got radicalized by Fox. There's nothing I can do when you're like telling me. Well, in Californians, we you know, we're not the brightest bunch.
Well, unfortunately, that is the problem that you know, Fox News took a lot of people who were just leaning to the right and pushed them to the extremes.
And my my ex-wife's mother, who is my actual friend, we hang out. She has gone full QAnon.
What the hell?
She got cancer. And she just now sits at home and watches Fox News.
Is there a difference between QAnon and Fox News?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
not by much.
Yeah, not much.
Yeah, Fox News likes to promote a lot of the QAnon stuff.
It's just these are people that I love, and I'm watching them go crazy. Yeah. Or this past weekend, I know a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Hasidic Jewish people, a lot of older Jewish women. It's you know, just people I grew up with, people I've known my whole life. So someone that I've known my whole life recently asked me some really awkward questions. We renamed the building that I work at. We renamed it after my father. So we had a ceremony and everybody was, you know, we were having cake and coffee. It was just people having a good time. A woman walks up to me, sits down, and she's like, tell me about this non-binary trans thing. In a room of about 60 people, everyone stopped and turned and looked at me.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
And so I had to explain to a crowd of Hasidic Jewish people what non-binary and trans is. To people who every time I said something, they were trying to talk over me and I'm like, look, like, and I just kind of told them, like, look, we are the old world. And I kind of put myself in the same, because I grew up with these people. I said, look, the world's changed. Your world doesn't exist anymore. Because I say it to my mom all the time, like, you can have your own views, but there are people who do not feel the same way that you do. You know, let's just agree to disagree. But it was the most awkward thing. It was weird. It was just,
the reason I don't want to get on Facebook anymore was the Trump era has taught me some things about a bunch of my, you know, friends and relatives that I really,
an uncomfortable truth.
They look at me as Colonel Gay because I was outed 20 something years ago. So they expect me to know everything about the entire umbrella, you know, and I had to explain the differences. I had to explain each letter. I had to explain why. It got complicated fast because they refuse, you know, they're kind of reached a certain age where they don't care, but they're mad at it.
And I can't even come out as trans in public because I live in a very rural place, and I don't feel comfortable around people to
Yeah.
actually do that. So I've kept that part of my persona online. But I'm going to have to eventually do it whenever I start HRT because, yeah.
That's the situation I'm in here, that I'm not sure how it's going to go over when I come out public with my neighbors and with like the building manager and that.
Yeah.
Microraptor, you made me laugh. It's
You know,
my accent.
Mhm.
I can't
No,
pronounce words.
you did say
Well,
Hasidic. You did say Hasidic. It's just me making a fun.
It's my terrible accent.
Well, also Americans
Hasidic
do
Jew.
kind of have a habit of dropping H's on a lot of things.
Yeah,
So true. So
like
true.
I'm playing Jurassic World Evolution right now. I'm on the second one, and in the first one, they whenever they said herbivore, they say herbivore, and I always it was so distracting that they removed the H in herbivore.
I do that. I'm guilty.
Herbivore. Well, H is silent in herbivore.
Even like with possum, though, I don't say
Herb.
a possum. I say possum.
Possum. Yeah, possum.
Okay,
English is
actually,
worded that way.
there technically is a difference between a possum and an opossum.
Oh, really?
They are technically two different species.
Oh,
You'll have to show me the evidence on that one. I've never heard such a thing.
Well, the only real
yeah, I ran
difference-
across it again just like a month ago. I'll have to find it again.
The only difference I've ever seen is just the color. Like here, we have white ones, white possums on the West Coast, and I've seen like more brown ones on the East Coast.
Yeah, but you can get that variation in squirrels too. They go from all the way from total white to total black.
True.
And they're not different species.
True, because we have gray squirrels here and brown ones. Oh, the gray squirrels are awful. They're so like domesticated into the city. We have to warn our children, do not walk up to the squirrels. It's actually like a local thing. We have to tell the kids, like, they are not your friend. They're not scared of people here whatsoever.
And they're fast.
To me, they're just fluffy rats. But, as you can tell, I'm not a fan. We have city squirrels here, and they're gangsters. They have unions. They steal stuff. Squirrels are awful.
Squirrels are awesome. You got to learn to love squirrels.
Squirrels are generally cool.
I love squirrels.
I almost crashed my Montero a long time ago from, the squirrels that run out in the middle of the street and then they run back.
I like squirrels too. They're really very tasty. You just need 3 or 4.
No eating squirrels. No eating squirrels.
Not enough meat for me.
Oh, you
No
should
eating squirrel friends.
Like I said earlier, I literally have family members in Georgia that live stream how hillbilly they are. Because to my family in Chicago and Los Angeles, we're like, we tell them all the time, like, you guys are 200 years behind us.
Yeah.
But that's that Savannah, Georgia, out in the middle of nowhere, out in the woods kind of life.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Being from the city,
I live in South Carolina. I live in South Carolina, so I know exactly where you're talking about.
Exactly. See, that's like normal life. Being from the city, when I moved away from here, I discovered that not everybody lives like they do in California.
Yeah. Especially since you can go for miles without seeing a single house down here.
And you have good internet. Or building in general. And you have really good internet. I might move to where you live. Yeah. Is pot legal?
Delta 9 is.
because
That's
I'm
about
trying
it.
to move. I'm one of those people who will be moving out of Southern California in the next 2 years. It's my plan.
Delta 9's legal, but that's about it. And it's really crappy weed. I mean, it's not the best. You can pretty much go to any convenience store, and they have Delta 9, either in vape form or what you call it, blunts.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
Pre-rolled
tried. I
blunts.
tried that in a vape for the first time a couple of weeks ago. Damn near killed me. Single hit
Yeah.
and almost killed me. It was just horrible.
Yeah,
Is
you
it
gotta
like
get used
spice?
to it.
And it's a terrible
it-
high. It's just awful, terrible high.
Okay. I found an article about the difference between possums and opossums.
Okay.
I put
And
the link in the
also,
side chat, and Jenny, I'll send it to you on Twitter.
there's also
Well, can't you read out of it or something? A little bit. Come on.
in Australia, possums are much cuter for some reason, and they're less likely to attack humans.
Yeah, well, that's the main difference is that possums live in Australia and opossums live in the Americas, mostly North
Yeah.
America.
But they're the same species, but they act completely differently.
No, they're not really the same species.
But they can interbreed, though.
I'm not
They-
sure whether or not they can, but the most, the first thing you'll see is that the coat color is completely different.
Well, Republicans are a completely different species than everybody else, and you can breed with them.
True.
Yeah, we try to discourage that.
We try to discourage that, though. Yeah.
Are their tails different? Is that another thing?
Republicans
Yes, possum has a furry tail while the opossum has a bare tail.
Okay, yeah.
Possums are smaller.
Yeah, they're cuter. Possums are much cuter than opossums.
And American possums are our only marsupial.
Yes, they're the only marsupial native to North America.
Cool.
Actually, I think
I
they're
don't-
the only one native to the Americas at all anymore.
I don't think they were actually native to begin with. I believe they were taken over here and they took over the South, basically.
No,
They
they
were?
were native to South America before the Americas joined together.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought they were taken off. Okay.
Yeah, there were a number of marsupials in South America, but when the land bridge formed across Panama, it introduced a lot of North American predators into South America, which seemed to
that
have
makes
wiped
sense.
out most of the marsupials.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I learned something new again today. I didn't know that Delta 9 existed.
Oh, you didn't know about Delta 9?
Well, marijuana is legal in California, and I smoke plain old pot. I go to the store, I buy it. It's all domesticated now. All the stigma's gone.
Well, see, the funny thing is, Delta 9 is the only weed that's legal in the southern states. But that wasn't until very recently, and it still doesn't. It's not fully legal, as in there's still restrictions and everything else. Blah, 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 blah. But it's only come about because of California and Colorado and all the other states that have legalized it, and they're like, well, we'll legalize this particular brand, and that's it.
So can I ask you a question? Is it like spice? Because like when they legalized spice in California, it almost killed people. Like it was the zombie drug where people were in the street geeking out and having seizures and stuff.
No,
I don't know what spice is in this context.
No, not really. Basically, it was just like it just got people to buy it from the store instead of buying it from their dealers.
Yeah, it's like a legal hallucinogen, kind of.
Like salvia?
It's I never really done it. I've just talked to people who done it. Actually, maybe I did spice once, but it's more like you're about ready to trip, like on acid or mushrooms. You feel like you're almost tripping, but not completely.
Oh, because like I do a lot of outreach, and so when I think of spice, I think of people in the middle of downtown Los Angeles, like freaking out, fighting the cops or somebody,
Yeah.
like,
Kind of like PCP almost. I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then we have something here called kratom that everybody's doing.
Kratom.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing
I
here
heard-
in northern.
I heard kratom is really good for getting over heroin, at least.
It's kind of like a downer. What was they saying yesterday when we were talking about it? They were saying it's like taking a mild sleeping something, kind of like codeine. Oh, it's like taking codeine and smoking weed.
Yeah.
I guess is what they were describing it as yesterday. So
Okay.
if you like a relax, if you want to relax, I guess it's good for that. Like sitting at the couch, just watching TV and kind of like not remembering your body, I guess is what it's good for. So numbing pain, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be good for pain. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we got all these kids out here who just do it like every day. And they just sit on the couch and they don't do anything. So it's kind of bad.
I'm prone to flashbacks, so I try not to touch that stuff. Like I smoke this stuff. It's called moon rocks. You just sprinkle it on your weed. It's legal here in California. I had a full blown acid flashback, or something happened.
God.
I freaked out. Oh yeah. So I try not to mess around with half of that stuff. That's why I say I just smoke plain old pot.
Yeah, I don't do experimental drugs anymore. Like if it's been around for 10 years or more and I talk to enough people and somebody helps me do it, then I'll do it. But I stay away from all the new crap. I'm too old for that.
Yeah,
it's same. And honestly, my system cannot hang anymore. Like I don't have the tolerance to do drugs anymore like I used to. And the next day I feel like I'm dead or dying. So I don't do drugs anymore. That's why I'm glad I
don't do drugs, okay? Drugs are bad, okay?
Okay.
I'm glad I destroyed my brain cells when I was younger. I had an ex-girlfriend who at 40 years old she started taking oxys, and she was dead by 45 of a heroin addiction.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. You know. And she was total Orange County soccer mom. Like you would see her and never think, you know.
I never understood the attraction of heroin, because every single person I've ever seen on it has been worse off because of it. It's never had any good benefits.
I agree.
They continue to take it because they're addicted. They start to take it because the first time they tried it, it was so incredible. Mm-hmm. But after the first time, it's never incredible again. But you get
and same with Jenny's right. And same with the oxys too, is you start taking it and someone will say, "Oh, heroin is the same high and it's cheaper." Then they're hooked. Then they get hooked. It was sad. My friend Jen, we once a year we come together and actually talk about our friend Kim, who died 45 years old, pointless death. And she was clean up until 40. She started doing drugs at 40 years old, you know?
Well, I can see how OxyContin can do it because, you know, you get addicted to that as well when the doctor prescribes it, because doctors love to overprescribe opiates nowadays. And yeah, OxyContin is one of the worst, along with Percocet and several others.
Yeah, in the U.S., the pendulum's gone the other way, and now doctors are actually afraid to prescribe it, even for people who have a legitimate need for it.
Yeah, because of the overdosing and all the heroin addict problems and everything.
When I was living in San Diego. Oh, go ahead, Micro.
Because
I've heard it's the same way in the US with ADHD medication, that a lot of people use it to get high, so it's hard for people who actually need it to get it.
Here in California, you have to sign. You go to Rite Aid. You have to show your ID to get an inhaler, to get Sudafed, to get anything, because people make meth out of everything here.
Yeah, meth. Yeah.
You have to show your ID here too, but most people have an ID, so I don't know how many people that's a problem.
But yeah, a couple years ago, we had a opioid crisis where doctors were prescribing way too many people to like I said, any opioids basically.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like you can't get a prescription anymore because of that. They need to find a happy medium between the two.
Oh, to answer what Theo's saying in the chat, pot's legal, Theo. So when you come to LA, we will be blazing like blazing saddles.
And Simi, if my understanding of the US is that there is no happy medium. Either extreme on one side or extreme on another side. There is no happy medium.
It varies from state to state.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to go to jail. No one's going to go to jail for marijuana. Well, unless you have like an elite. Like recently, they went out to the desert and they busted a bunch of pot growers, which I think is stupid. But they were illegally growing, which I don't even know what that means anymore. Because I can grow 6 plants in my backyard, and I could have. I had 2 plants last year, and I grew a massive amount of weed, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I had no idea. You know.
Well, do the dispensaries sell seed?
Yes, and they
Okay.
sell
Yeah,
already,
and
clones.
and they sell plants that are like that are already sprouted. So if you don't know what you're doing, all you have to do is water it.
Yeah.
I have to point something out about what the Krabby Hermit just said. Oxys are the same as heroin. Oxycontin is an opioid which is derived from heroin. It's just a pharmaceutical grade of heroin. That's all Oxycontin is pharmaceutical heroin.
Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly.
What? Yep. It's fucking literally. It's
down to
the purified form.
Yes, down to the exact chemical composition. That's why people get so ripped off of oxys.
Yeah, it's the exact same formula. It's not they were telling everyone oxys are the same as heroin because it is the same as heroin. Because
that's why
heroin.
That's why it's literally, I call that more of a gateway drug than marijuana. Because that'll take you straight to heroin, you know. It's sad.
But yeah, that's why it's so easy to go from oxys to heroin because it's the same goddamn thing.
But yeah, pot's legal here in California. It's like I say this all the time. It's weird to be able to go to a dispensary and buy marijuana. Still, because I'm from the era where, I'm from the era where people went to jail for it. Though when I was a kid, man, if you had pot, you were doing time. You know.
Yeah. Either you were doing time, or the cops confiscate it and they give you a hefty fine.
Oh
and then the cops would smoke it.
Yep.
Has anybody seen that show? I forget who it was on. Somebody told me. I don't remember. It was about Kathy Bates was in it, and it was about life in a dispensary.
Decriminalized, something like that.
I really don't remember. I would if I heard the correct name. I'm sure.
Wasn't it just like weeds or something?
Weeds?
No, that was a movie.
No,
this is just a recent TV show.
Something like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I watched like the first season of it on Netflix.
Weeds was a TV show that's pretty recent.
Yeah, but this one is about actually being in a dispensary, and Roseanne was running it and has all these employees. And
no, Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. There we go. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's outrageously funny. Will, you got to see if you can pick it up. I'm pretty sure. I think it's on Netflix.
Kathy Bates reminds me of my mom. So whenever I watch Kathy Bates, my mom's a very strong human being. So it just reminds me of her. They oddly kind of look alike too.
Also, Krabby Hermit, we weren't talking about the late 90s. We're talking about the late 2000s.
And in no way, shape, or form are we trying to offend you at all.
No,
and
no,
I know,
no.
like, the opiate crisis is real, and I know, like, Like, and the person I'm talking about that passed away, it was shocking to me and my friends because she was one of us, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this lightly at all.
It can happen to anyone, really. It can happen to you. I mean, my mom herself was like a Mormon. She was very, outspoken in the community. She was a very lovely person, and she had an addiction to OxyContin.
Mhm.
She didn't do heroin. She did not do heroin, but it was pretty much the oxys that killed her.
When I was doing documentaries, films in San Diego, we came across a ex-Olympian who got in a car accident, and she had to be taking opioids to heal. Well, after the doctor said she couldn't have those, or somebody told her heroin was cheaper, she became a heroin addict. So we actually did a documentary about how an Olympian who had gold medals went into a heroin junkie, and we actually documented her shooting up heroin and getting it and all that stuff. It was insane. It was like 2003 or 4 or something that we did that. It was insane to see it in real life, especially somebody who's achieved that much stuff.
The opioid crisis didn't happen until it started back in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Really late 2000s. It didn't the opioids weren't that big a thing in the 90s. They really started, late 90. I want to say late 98 to early 2000s.
Yeah, because I don't remember that being around in the party scene. It was, the ecstasy and the speed and stuff and coke. And not heroin. And then it started creeping into the scene, and I started seeing rock bands on it and touring bands. And we had a touring band from California come out from LA, and it was their last event. And the dude went into the bathroom, shot up heroin, and came out and laid on the stage yelling into the microphone, "I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything."
Yeah.
I had to jump up on stage, kick him off, and I had to redo my whole sideshow set to keep the audience happy so they didn't ask for their money back.
Oh, that's crazy. Drugs are bad, kids. Drugs are bad.
Marijuana is not a drug. Marijuana is not a drug. It's an herb. So
marijuana is a drug. It's just a low end drug, so it's safer than alcohol. Don't pretend it's not a drug. Stop it.
Yeah.
Remember, moderation.
I will back Jenny on that. Do not say that marijuana is not a drug.
It's a drug. Marijuana is a drug. I was trying to be pedantic, but
coffee's
a drug under the
I was about
condition.
to say, man, you've never seen my Nintendo 64 habit. Mario is a drug to me. Anything done repetitively over and over.
We don't have mushrooms.
That was one of the things we battled for. That's one of the things we battled for in the hippie days, was getting people to understand in terms of drug use that we're dealing with addiction, but you need to understand you can become addicted to anything. People get addicted to jogging. People get addicted to video games. People get addicted to driving their car. They get addicted to avocados. It all has a different effect when you try to withdraw from that addiction, but it's still addiction.
Hey, avocados.
Sex. I mean,
sex is fun. Avocado is a healthy fat, Jetty.
Oh, I'm not saying it's bad.
I'm addicted to avocados.
Yeah, you can be addicted to wonderful, good things, but that doesn't mean that they're good when you get addicted.
I'm addicted to tomatoes, so I'm joking.
Oh, Doc. Thank you. Your dome is glorious as well.
Yeah, I'm addicted.
You know what
to
though? Hey, me too. Hey, put it in my veins. Me too.
Just
I live
straight in my veins.
I always jokingly say that I live on YouTube. Like, if you want to find me, I'm on YouTube somewhere. I didn't realize how much of a YouTube addiction I had until one day I was at work and I'm like, I got the Wi-Fi fixed so I can watch YouTube up at my shop, and I'm like, okay, this is bad. But everyone thanked me because they can all use their cell phone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's called disjointed. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to placebos. I love you, Doc. I love you, Doc.
And that is theoretically possible too.
Well, And then, of course, the easy one, I'm addicted to dick. I mean,
I'm addicted to
Yes,
enemas.
Jinzu is correct. Disjointed.
I'm addicted to enemas. Wait.
now we know.
You want to do me in my what? In my butt. You want to do me in my what? In my
you
butt.
make yourself some lunch?
That butt in the butt. I said
And
butt,
we're
what?
still gonna go walking today. We'll go walking
In the butt.
while dinner's cooking.
Yep.
So young Isaiah and I have been walking a mile every day since last Tuesday.
Wow.
Well, we skipped
Nice.
Sunday. We skipped Sunday. But yeah, because I'm trying to
Walking
get
can be an
healthy again.
addiction. Walking can be an addiction.
Well, I was
Yeah.
extremely. I was like, I didn't realize how active I was until COVID hit, and I became extremely inactive. And so I'm getting back to where I used to be because I like walking. I like playing hockey and it's constantly fair weather here, so I might as well take advantage of it.
Well, my work
Yeah.
used to be very physically active, and since I've lost a lot of that, I'm trying to be more aware of it. So there is a treadmill upstairs in the building here. So haven't been real good. I'd wanted to do it every day. I'm only getting it a couple times a week, but I try to do like half-mile sessions. Like 15 minutes, I do about a half mile.
And whenever
Absolutely.
when it starts warming up here, I'm gonna start walking myself because I need to lose weight badly.
And that's
Hey,
what
kitty.
happened. Hey, kitty.
And
And that's what
kitty.
happened.
Hey, kitty.
Meow meow.
I gained a gang of weight, and I'm one of those people like don't talk about it, be about it. So I've just started doing it,
Yeah,
and I started playing hockey again too.
that's a good way to be. That's a good way of doing it.
tayo karasani.
so how is everyone?
Beautiful, beautiful.
So
Thank you.
Good.
I did a thing. I made a backpack for the first time, and I'm super happy with how it came out. I mean, obviously I can see the little errors, but it was first time using the pattern and first time ever making it back.
That's awesome.
Kitty, you
Let me go
probably
grab
the
it.
last time we talked. Make me
Remember
I
the-
forgot what it was.
Remember the rule is that no one is looking at the seams except for you. No one's looking that close. Even people who sew don't look that close.
Yeah.
Kitty, by the way, you promised me something the last time we talked. I forgot what it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
I
So, hold on,
love
hold on.
it.
Hold on.
That's really
It
cool.
has rainbow zipper, and then on the inside, the pattern didn't have anything here, but I actually put an extra zipper pocket here in the
nice.
lining. And then
Oh,
on this
come
side,
on.
it's got a little slip pocket.
Oh, come on.
And instead of
that's
pulling
really
it right side out, it actually has binding around the edges, so like it gives it a little more stability. Oh, and then there's a pocket on the back, so like you can put your wallet there because it's up against your back. And then these padded straps I actually made. So yeah, like oh, and then this has a magnetic closure.
Oh,
That's
and
an
yeah, the
agronomy.
extra
That's really,
pockets
really
are
nice,
also
Kitty.
nice.
That's
You know
awesome.
what's
Yeah.
really funny? The thing I've been working on lately has been details because, you know, the devil's definitely in the details. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Good job.
Neato Kino.
Backpack,
That's
backpack,
beautiful. I love
backpack.
that. I love that.
The straps
On
are
the shortest
adjustable
setting,
then?
yeah, the straps are adjustable. Like this is the straps on the shortest setting, and it has it like in my middle back. But then I can adjust the straps down and make it go lower if I wanted to. I made it for my sister, so now it's
Yeah.
down closer. The bottom's like out my butt. a little bit.
Yeah,
But-
or just for somebody who's
Yeah.
got bigger shoulders or wider back.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Mhm.
beauteous.
I'm
It's awesome.
super stoked. As soon as I finished it last night, like I actually made TikTok of like the process where I basically it wasn't like instructional, it was more of a here's part 1 showing what I've done so far kind of thing. And I finished the last one, uploaded it, and then I immediately FaceTimed my sister. And I'm like, it's done, I'm so excited. And then I FaceTimed my mom because like Oh man, I had so much fun making this bag. Like I'm gonna be making more bags like going forward because I love it. And here I go dropping my phone.
I recently made a vest from scratch, and I got addicted to making vests, so I get it. That's awesome.
I'm going to.
Oh, and there's weed on the floor. See, when pot's legal,
Godless doing. I think you're addicted to American flags.
Huh?
I think Godless Suing is addicted to American flags because you have so many in the background.
yeah, I am. I'm a bit of a flag shagger. But you know what, though? The whole reason I started with the flags was to remind people that people of color live here. But recently, with all the stupidity that's been going on, the flags are staying for another year.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's really sad that these days, the way things have gone, that if I see somebody wearing an American flag now, my first response is dumb shit.
See, that's not okay. That's not
I know
okay.
it's not, but it's because they've been taken over by the MAGA idiots.
Exactly.
And for me, Sweden and the US obviously has very different relationships to this. Like the US was of course a British colony and all that, and you have freedom to celebrate. And Sweden doesn't have that in the same way. We sort of what we did in Canada, but that was like so long ago that like no one cares about that. But like we don't show our flag everywhere. So we like I for example would say that I love a lot of things about my country, but it's also those things that other countries have. There's nothing special about Sweden that I love that no other country has. Like
in America, we're indoctrinated. Like I grew up with a very patriotic father. I was in the Boy Scouts, and when I was a kid, the Boy Scouts would march with the Vietnam vets every year in the 4th of July parade. Like we were told like, you're an American, have pride and blah, blah, blah. Like propaganda works.
Yeah, they definitely put that down our throat, for sure.
The sad thing is the United States has more in common with North Korea than it does with the social democracies of Europe.
Yeah.
Let that sink in for a minute. I mean, they, basically worship a picture of their country's founder. We worship the flag. We pledge allegiance to the flag every morning in school.
Yeah.
They have a high incarceration rate, although the U.S. has the highest incarceration rate per capita.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually worse than them in that case. They have propaganda on their news and television channels. They don't take care of their citizens. They don't have socialized health care. They don't. And it's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad there, and it's bad here.
Yeah.
In the United Nations, they held a vote, and the question was, should food be considered a human right? And 2 countries voted against it: the United States and Israel. Everybody else voted for it.
Yeah, because we cornered the market. Do you know?
Because we don't consider basic survival to be a human right.
There should not be one person starving in California because the amount of beef that we produce, the amount of alfalfa, hay, lettuce. We make millions of tons of produce here, and it gets shipped off to other countries and to other places.
The amount of food in the U.S. that is intentionally destroyed just to support the prices.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if it has a slight blemish on it, it gets thrown out. Even though it's completely edible, it just has a slight blemish on it. No, we throw it away.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous. I hate that we do that.
I saw a documentary on turkeys that would make you vegetarian. I told Doc I almost wanted to cry, but
And to
we're awful. We're awful in this country.
and to artificially inflate the price of milk, they throw out gallons of milk just because. Oh,
Yeah. That's what I mean. That a lot of food is intentionally destroyed just to keep the market prices up.
Yeah. And they'll kill female cows that are still able to produce milk just to artificially rise the price of milk to make it harder to make, basically.
I've always wondered how somebody from a place like India would react to a place like Iowa or California, where we have hundreds of thousands of cows just standing in a field of their own shit, literally.
Yeah. Oh, they would be disgusted.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Well, look how disgusted we would be when they butcher that dog and eat it.
Yeah. They don't eat dog in India.
No, they don't.
Well, wherever, and I'm just using, that.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing anybody of anything. They're just,
it's just
everybody's different.
norms.
Cultures are vary.
I always say I've been to an island where they have monkey meat on a stick. You can walk and buy it from a vendor.
Yep.
Like, here's the thing. I mean, I personally, I love animals. I love dogs and cats and everything, but I am not going to begrudge someone a stable food source,
Oh, absolutely.
I know what it feels like to be starving, and I would not, well, maybe my worst enemy, but I wouldn't wish it on most people, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but, I want to be honest. I can think of one or two people that I wouldn't lose any sleep over.
But again, it's
for the most part,
former
it's horrible.
president, perhaps.
But like Jenny was saying, though, it is a cultural thing. When I lived in Mexico, I discovered that if I eat anything wrapped in cactus, it literally destroys my insides. So I don't eat cactus food.
Oh God, I'm old. Don't get old. It's not worth it.
I mean, the alternative is getting dead, so I don't know.
Exactly.
Like,
There are days when that doesn't appear to be such a bad alternative.
you're not wrong.
The second you said that, I got Forever Young stuck in my head.
I'm not forever.
So, Will, have you seen Encanto yet?
Guys, I'm sorry that I had
No,
to run.
but I've seen. It was very nice meeting you, Zumi.
It was nice meeting y'all too.
Take care, Zumi. Come back sometime.
I'm just getting used to getting back on the internet because I was gone for so long. But yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back. Take it easy, y'all.
Be safe. Be well.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Bye.
So, the one thing that bothers me about today's society is that we whine and complain about everything. And I put myself in this category because I whine and complain about everything. But it's weird to me to see people who know nothing about the Hispanic culture crying about a movie they haven't seen.
Like, honestly, I watched it. It was fucking phenomenal. Now, I understand, like, Hispanic people, being a little triggered by it. Like, I mean, it's representation, yes, but it's also taking all of their childhood trauma from, like, an entirely toxic family dynamic where you are expected to be fucking perfect. And, you have all this weight put on your shoulders. Like, so I can understand that it might be triggering for, Latino people just because, like, again, it's showing all of that.
What movie are you talking about?
Encanto. It's a new
Encanto?
Disney movie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Okay.
TLDR, it's basically you have a woman and her 3 babies, like triplets, and her husband. They're escaping what honestly look like conquistadors, that are attacking their village. And the husband, like, sacrifices his life to save his wife and 3 children, and the candle she was carrying with her while crossing the river basically was blessed with a miracle, and it blew away the bad guys that were chasing them, and it created this paradise. Essentially, it made a magical house for them, and it enclosed an area in mountains to give them a safe haven. And then every child, when they came to be a certain age, they went through a ceremony. They would touch the candle, and then they would touch a door that was meant for them in the house, and they would be given a gift. One has super hearing, one has the ability to control the weather, one is super strong and tough like Heracles. One can talk to animals, one can shapeshift, one can see the future. He ends up being the scapegoat of the family. And so they have all these powers. And Abuela, she doesn't actually have a power herself, but her kids and then their children have gifts. And she is very much, you have to be perfect.
Talk about Bruno.
Why did you talk about Bruno? And there's Maribel, who is kind of like the main character in the story. She goes through her little ceremony, and she's not actually given a gift. So she's kind of treated like a broke dick dog by Abuela, you know, excluded and just kind of like pushed out of the family. She's still there, and she's the biggest hype man for her family. But because she didn't measure up to Abuela's standards, it was bad. And like every person, even with abilities, is being crushed by the weight of Abuela's expectations, you know, so much so that the house starts to crack and crumble because of it. But it's definitely worth watching. But considering I have a lot of friends that, you know, are Hispanic, everyone I've spoken to about it has said like that this kind of brought up some childhood trauma for them. And like they watch it with their parents, and you know their parents don't want to admit that. Yeah, no, this is the main problem. Was like the crazy expectations that you just could not meet. And toxic family traits.
I can't speak for anyone in that culture, but I would actually appreciate something highlighting some of my childhood traumas so that they were actually talked about. My biggest issue is that my family still denies most of that crap happened.
Because I grew up in that toxic environment, I completely and utterly understand where people are coming from. I'm one of those people who address my issues, but I still deal with that to this very day. My mom's children had to sit her down and explain to her that normal people don't do certain toxic things. In the Hispanic culture, there are certain things that are considered normal that in anywhere else on planet Earth are considered some of the most toxic, gaslit, narcissistic things on Earth. But in certain cultures, they call it Tuesday.
Actually, you mentioned gaslighting. They actually show gaslighting in the film. The girl who can control the weather, it's tied to her emotions. So if she's sad, it starts to rain, and the family's constantly telling her, you know, basically stop the rain, suppress your emotions. You're not sad. So they actually touch on the gaslighting in the film, but in a family, kid-friendly way. And the musics are bops, man. Like Luisa's song, Pressure, it's literally talking, she's the strong one. It's literally talking about how, you know, the weight of the pressure is just crushing her. And then you have the song We Don't Talk About Bruno, where he basically could see the future, and they scapegoated him for it because they didn't like what he saw, even though, you know, his visions were not unchangeable, you know. But so they literally say, we don't talk about him. And, you know, they kind of pushed him out of the family, and he disappeared 10 years prior. And it's such a good movie. I've watched it a few times because it's Richard's new favorite. You know how ASD kids are. They get obsessive with, you know, something. So he's been listening to the soundtrack and watching the movie on repeat for like a couple weeks now. Hey, they're bops. So I'm not minding.
And when you come to think like when they have movies and stuff about trauma, it seems like there's always gonna be people who can't handle that very well, and people who can handle it well, who think that,
Careful.
yeah, this feels empowering, and this feels like this helps me with it. And then there's gonna be people who, like, no, I don't want this. I don't want, like, to talk about it or think about it in this way or this context or whatever.
Well, and I
So,
can also
yeah.
understand, for people who have gone through it, that it could just still be too triggering, that they're still,
Yeah.
they still don't know how to process it themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. My mom, she'll always say to me, "Well, at least you were baptized." It really triggers me because she's completely saying, "Oh, I don't care about your atheism. I don't care about anything. At least you were baptized." She's rationalizing in her head of me being an atheist. So, and still to this day, I tell myself, like, I know she's going to say it, or she'll always say, like, God bless or something. I do not think people understand the Hispanic culture, how hardcore it is. But like I said earlier, growing up around Hasidic Jewish people, it's basically the same thing, just in a different language.
I mean, for fuck's sake, goodbye in Spanish is essentially go with God. Adios.
You're taught to say when your mom will say something, you're taught to say que manda, which literally means what is your command. They teach children to say que manda, que manda. You gotta be kidding me. That's the definition of doctrine. And I didn't realize it until I had when I was like 19, 20, I dated a young girl who was Salvadoranian, and we lived on Hoover Street in Los Angeles. And even though I grew up in the suburbs, it was shocking to me that Salvadoranians had the same culture as Mexicans, where it was like when your mom spoke, you say, "What's your command?" And growing up black and Mexican, I got it both ways because my dad was no joke either. So, yeah, culture.
There's a lot of pressure on black men, when they're boys, to measure up and be a certain way. And like, it's really toxic and really limiting, honestly. Like,
are you kidding
me? I look forward to the day that we can just all be whoever the fuck we are, as long as we're not hurting anybody. Because, I'm not going to say it's okay for Jeffrey Dahmer to be going out there and doing his thing. But, for most people, like, you should be able to be your true self. And it should just be no different than introducing yourself with, your nickname, or just introducing yourself in general. Like, who fucking cares?
Again, you should have the freedom to do anything that does not involve someone else without their consent.
Yeah, very much so.
Or having to live up to people's unreal expectations. I get told all the time, like, "Oh, you're not like your father. You're not like your father." And I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah.
Because they have certain expectations, and you shouldn't.
I consider that my greatest accomplishment in life, that I'm past 50 and no one has ever said I was like my father.
I'm going to take off.
Oh, okay, Jenny.
Okay.
Take care.
See you later, Jenny.
Bye, Jenny.
Thanks for having me. Hey, Chet. Thank you for being here. Love you guys.
Love you, Jenny.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You know what it is?
But yeah, I think
My
for me,
dad-
that was really what screwed me up being autistic, is that growing up, I never understood what anyone expected of me.
Yeah.
My dad set unreal expectations because he was nice. He was an electrical engineer. He was a personable person. When I came in and took his job over, I'm like, if you know how to do your job, I will leave you alone. So our styles are much different. But also, if someone messes up, I'm extremely confrontational. And my dad was not at all. He was extremely polite. I'm like, why did you F up? Where we got to go through this paperwork now and do this and this,
Growing up, my dad always compared me to my older brother, who really is not part of my life. It's from his first marriage. He had 2 kids. And so I was always compared to my older brother, he got a full scholarship to Tulane University. He went into the Navy. He's a pilot and all this other stuff. And well, Chris did this and Chris did that. And I'm just like, but, I'm not him. And then, being injured early on, like, I've been disabled since I was 19. Like, that was traumatizing, knowing that I would never be able to live up to the expectations he set before me. And like it still bothers me. Like I've got fucking scars from it, like emotional and physical.
I think that's part of the problem too, is we put unreal expectations on ourselves or try to live up to other people. Like the one good thing is that my dad would always tell me, like, I'm myself, you don't have to be like me. And I tell my son the same thing, like, you don't have to be like me, be whoever you want to be, you know? It's important to remind people that.
My son wants to paint his nails. I'm gonna help him do it because, like, he tried doing it himself and he made a hot fucking mess of it. So I'm like, no, if we're gonna do this, if you're gonna rock nail polish, you're gonna do it right. So I will do it.
Oh, same. Isaiah's gone into this weird, like, vegan meat habit. I think it smells like, I won't say what I think it smells like, but you know, I'm here for it. You want to eat healthy? Hey, you'll live longer. I eat like an emancipated 13-year-old, so I'm no one to talk.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. We somebody had given us some of that vegan sausage, and I can't actually tell you what it tastes like because the smell of cooking it just put both of us off so bad we couldn't eat it.
Yeah, I don't like. Isaiah laughs because he was raised around me, so he has my sense of humor. I say awful things about it, and he'll still eat it. I think it's gross. Like right now, if the grid went down, I'm gonna start growing cabbage because there's no way I'm gonna eat that lab-grown meat.
So I think it's KFC now has like vegan
KFC is
nuggets.
doing vegan chicken nuggets.
Supposedly they're not bad. I haven't tried them yet, but I actually do want to try them. Not that I ever intend to go vegan. Fuck that. Like I would get so sick if I tried.
I haven't tried them yet either. I just saw they had a poster.
But I'm curious. Like I'm a curious bitch, so I'll let you know when I finally get around to getting to KFC to order some food. I will let you know how they go.
See, like I had an impossible. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Microraptor.
I'm not vegan or vegetarian, but I eat a lot of, like, I like to try those kinds of foods. I definitely eat less meat than I used to.
For me, I have to eat meat. Like I have to eat red meat, especially, you know, at least once or twice a week, or I start to feel kind of ill. I can't take iron supplements because they trash my stomach. And even trying other like iron-rich foods, it just doesn't, my body just doesn't seem to take it as well. But if I eat red meat, I'm fine. But like when I go to donate blood, they do a little finger check. They'll prick your finger to check your iron levels to make sure you're okay to donate. And they'll do a little drop test. They take the little drop of blood, drop it in this like bluish liquid. If it sinks, you're good. Your iron's high enough. For me, mine doesn't sink, so they actually have to take a tube of my blood, and it's a like tiny, tiny little micro straw, like think coffee stirrer size, and put it in a little centrifuge and spin it, and then they have to measure out how much like of the red blood cells are in there and how much of it is plasma, and then, you know, as long as it measures up the right way, then you are allowed to donate. So like my iron levels are like right on that borderline, but I have a rare blood type, so, you know, it's good to donate when I can.
I kind of have the same problem. I can't take certain supplements, so I have to eat red meat.
I mean, I wouldn't mind lab-grown meat. If it tasted the same and was cost-effective, I'm not opposed. As long as it tastes the same. If it's got the same taste and texture, and it's, you know, safe, obviously, and cost-effective, I'll eat lab-grown meat. I don't care. Like, I'm not saying I got to kill the cow. I'm just saying I want to eat the cow. Like, whether it was grown in a petri dish or on a farm. Don't care. Just give me the cow.
Okay.
If the cost was comparable, I wouldn't have any problem with it.
When it doesn't smell awful, I'll eat it. But they haven't got there yet. It looks like it. It even tastes like it. But when you take it out of the package, it just smells awful.
But here's the thing. Those aren't actually lab-grown meat. Like, there isn't commercial lab-grown meat available right now. Those are meat replacements, which are made from things like mushrooms and soy.
It's plant-based patties.
Whereas what I'm talking about is it's an actual cow. It's just a cow that, you know, they grew the tissue, they grew the steaks in a lab as opposed to, you know, growing them in the cow and slicing them off.
Right. Yeah, it's growing the protein cells that were never part of a living animal.
Well, we are the only thing on this planet that isn't part of the circle of life because we take from everything.
No, we are still part of the circle of life. I mean, we have minimized it a bit, but we still die. And when we're buried, depending, I mean, granted, with burial practices now, like
Exactly.
you're not
Yeah,
likely to
if they pump your
decompose.
body full of formaldehyde and entomb it in concrete, you've taken it out of the circle of life.
That's what I'm saying.
But we're meant to be part of the circle of life,
Yeah.
is what I'm getting at.
Well, and that's part of why I've always objected to burial practices and funerals, because I felt for decades that we have been slowly eroding the planet by not allowing that material to get put back into the cycle.
I've
Are we
seriously
getting
been looking.
into Lion King songs now?
I want
Are
to
we getting into Lion? Are we getting into Lion King songs now with the circle of life?
Yep.
Hey, I mean, it's all about the Disney movies now. You can fucking tie a Disney reference to just about anything. And
Well,
I am that Disney trivia bitch. Like, one year, my family got me Disney Trivial Pursuit for Christmas, and we played the day after Christmas. We played twice on that day, and they have refused to play it with me ever again because I whooped their asses so bad. And I'm like, they're like, it's not fun if you always win. And I'm like, I can't help that I know all the Disney trivia.
We're definitely part of the circle of life. We're the jerks of the circle.
Yeah. Nice pun. I approve. But I'm making some masks to match
Kitty,
the bag.
I've had the same experience the one time people played Boulder Dash with me. No one will play that game with me again.
Well,
because I
Perp,
can
if I'm ever in your area, I'll play with you.
Convincing.
I will play. I've never played the game, but I'll play it with you if I'm ever in your area.
Oh, well, it's, they come up with a word and it's like, can you make up a definition for the word that people will believe? And I'm just, yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah,
Ooh, what if we played it on the street one night?
That people couldn't really tell if this was something I'd actually researched or something I was just making up.
Jackbox TV, I don't remember what number, has a game that is exactly like that, where they give you a phrase. Yeah,
I wasn't aware of that one.
Let me, I'll look up what it is and I'll message you which game it is. And
yeah,
we could play it on the stream. That would be so much fun.
But I hadn't, yeah.
Yeah, because I have all the Jackboxes, so we could definitely play it sometime. So I'll let you know what the name of the game is.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to set up a game night then.
Trivia Murder Party is still my favorite.
Me too. Yeah. I love Murder Party.
That is my fucking favorite game in the Jackbox games. Like, others are okay, but like that, so good.
Yeah, Slim, I think you're the one with the most restrictive schedule, so I think we'll have to kind of go by when you've got a free night.
Okay, that works. There's another game I found called What the Dub, and they take 1930s and 1950s movie clips, and they take out part of the dub. So like a cowboy will come in and say, let's rustle some stuff, partner, and they show another person, and then it will be blank, and you got to fill in the blank, and it actually will say it out. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Bar, and like it'll say, let's go to the gay bar, like after the clip or during the clip. It's so great. I love that game.
I love crappy westerns. I just recently watched Don Knotts, The Shakiest Gun in the West. I love crappy westerns.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Okay, my favorite comedy western is Support Your Local Sheriff. Anyone remember that one?
No, I'm going to watch it, though.
Mine is problematic.
Okay, one of the greatest lines of that is, he's got this one guy in jail, and like the guy's like father and his two brothers are sitting around saying, well, we should just go and bust him out. What's he going to do against three of us, even if he is the fastest gun around? And one of them says, well, he could shoot two of us.
I love those movies.
My favorite comedy western, like I feel bad about, but it's only because growing up, my dad would play, Blazing Saddles all the time. Like he knew every single line in the film,
That is
and
Oh yeah,
one of
I could
my
recite
favorite.
quite a bit of that.
I just like I love it, but I kind of hate myself for loving it. Like I feel
So
bad
did I.
about it, but it was part of my childhood.
Well,
What's the
it points out all of the wrong things about the Wild West. It shows you what we shouldn't be for, when they're on the railroad, when the bell's ringing, when the mayor's coming into town. It says all the things you're not supposed to be into. That's what makes it funny, because it's saying don't do these things,
Yeah.
kind of, because it's playing on it, when
It is
what's her name
very
comes
much
in,
satire.
yeah, and it's making fun of it, obviously, because Mel Brooks, so
Mel
yeah.
Brooks is a genius. I
Well,
adore
also-
him.
Great social commentary, and I mean, like you say, it was saying about all the things they did in the Wild West that were horrible, but then making you think, like, how many of these things are we still doing today?
Hmm.
And also, comedy died. People do not have a sense of humor anymore. We have to over-explain everything.
Yeah.
So
That is-
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Gilbert Gottfried should have been canceled for his tsunami joke.
Well, and yeah, unfortunately, part of comedy dying is that we have gotten so worried about anybody being offended by something. And
yeah, but
a lot of comedy was that, yeah, this is something you should be offended by if you're doing it.
It's supposed to be poking fun at society and not actually being serious when in comedy.
Yeah.
That's what sucks about being a comedian or doing what I do as an entertainer on the stage. All these people, people are getting canceled for weird things. It's like, do you not understand what a joke is? Like, and then in the context, in certain places and certain times, things can be funny no matter what, as long as it's given to you in the right way. But yeah,
I hang out with a bunch of gay dudes that call each other the F word. If someone else was to call them the F word, they're probably going to get punched in the face.
I mean, to be fair, like I don't see an issue with queers reclaiming that word, just like they did with queer. I mean, just like Black people did with the N word. It's like a word that was used to other and oppress you. Like taking it back for yourself, fucking go for it.
Well, that's what we did with free.
I think also we're over categorized
with queer.
Because, like, Latinx is kind of offensive. When I hear Latinx, it's just too new age for me. Like, I'm half black. Like, I'm half black and half Mexican. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old. But I feel like
well, you're Gen X, right?
I'm on.
You're like tail end of Gen X or beginning of millennial.
Literally in the middle.
What year were you born?
1981.
Same here.
So then, yeah, you are the beginning of millennial, because 81 is the start of millennial. So you're the same generation as me, just the tail end of it. I'm more in the middle of millennial.
I thought I was
I was born in 86.
Yeah, I thought I was an Xer until we looked it up, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm a millennial. God damn it.
So I kind of had, I won't even lie, I kind of had a breakdown when a friend of mine told me, because she was like, she's 10 years older than me, and she's like, you're a millennial. I knew you weren't a Gen Xer. And I was like, you're hurting my feelings, but it was true. It's true.
But
I grew up. Then the 90s is my era. Like that's my era.
Wait, you're only 5 years older than me?
Yeah, and my birthday is in 2 weeks.
Fuck. Now I feel old. No offense. I love you.
You are old. That's why
I know. I saw a TikTok that made me cry, and it was like, with all due respect, all y'all people born in the 1900s, and I'm like,
I jokingly say, you're old if you're born with the year has a 19 in front of it.
I mean, probably
think of it this way.
in your Triceratops, so
people born in 2000 are able to drink now.
See, I don't like that.
People born in the new millennium are now old enough to buy alcohol.
Yeah, that's
Do you
scary.
know when I get carded, I say thank you. Still to this day, when someone cards me, I'm like, oh, thank you. You are so nearsighted. Thank you.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Especially because I haven't been shaving lately, so I look my age. because I have a ton of gray hairs. I am not as much as an ageist as I used to be, but it's weird because there is a big cultural difference between someone my age and someone like 7 years younger than me. They're different universes because they grew up with much more technology. When I was a kid, we still had Apple IIes in the classroom. We were still running DOS,
Yep.
like we were
Oh,
dinosaurs.
I played Oregon Trail on the fucking computers in the computer lab at school. Thank you very much.
Yeah, in elementary school. Yeah, and maybe even middle, I was playing Oregon Trail still, I think.
I
Same.
love that game.
Same.
Well, the thing about getting carded is at some point you're going to have to start wondering, are they wondering if you're old enough to buy alcohol, or are they wondering if they should offer you the seniors discount?
Shut up, Purple. You bitch. Why? I mean, to be fair, I always get carded.
To me,
I've only not been carded for booze once in my life, and it was when I ordered a beer I wasn't even going to drink on my 21st birthday at a restaurant because I can't drink beer, but I could do it, so I wanted to, and they didn't fucking card me. The one time I wanted to be carded.
So
pissed me
I
off.
was in a major car accident a couple of years ago, and it was all over Facebook and my town and all the groups and everything. And people were telling all these lies about me and everything. And the only time I ever corrected anybody when they were like, yeah, the old man in the cowboy hat crashed, I said, no, the middle-aged man in the cowboy hat crashed. Go F yourself. Go F yourself. But, because when I wear my cowboy hat, people think I'm 200 years old. But they were calling me old, and I'm like, no, I'm not there yet.
Doesn't the cowboy hat kind of make you look older?
Again, we live by stereotypes. So people watch movies and they, when they think of a cowboy hat, they think of a cattle wrestler. I'm on a ranch driving a tractor and smoking a joint behind the building.
This is how I tell the age of people. Are you guys ready? DuckTales.
Woo!
Yep. Okay. So, yep.
I'll sing the whole song. I just don't want I don't want her to get a copyright strike. I literally know the whole song.
Hey, Will, DuckTales is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So is Gummy Bears and Darkwing Duck and
blathering blatherskite. That was Darkwing Duck's
Yeah.
Code word when all the equipment.
No, that was Gizmo Duck, not Darkwing Duck.
I love that show.
Okay, and then also Gummy Bears.
Gummy Bears.
There and everywhere.
Dude, I wanted to fucking fall into a rabbit hole and end up in the Gummy Bear world. Like, fuck, move over, princess. I'll take over.
Have you seen the reboot of DuckTales, the new one they did?
The only reason I have is because David Tennant is Scrooge McDuck.
Yes.
Okay, I generally have hated almost every reboot they've done, but I have to say that one is pretty decent. They did a lot of things right. One of the things I really like is that for the first time ever, Huey, Dewey, and Louie actually have distinct personalities.
Yeah, rather than just being 3 different colors for the same fucking thing.
Is it animated or?
Yes, it's animated. It's on Disney XD, or I think it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. That's where I got to see it because Sloth Girl got Disney Plus for a while.
Slim, did you watch G.I. Joe when you were a kid?
Oh heck yeah! I had the 12-inch G.I. Joe, and I had the little.
Knowing is half the battle.
All right, that was my shit when I was a kid. G.I. Joe. It was honestly American propaganda to get little kids to join the army when they're older.
It was,
but it worked with me. I didn't join, but I love that damn show.
I had all of them. I had all the good guys, the bad guys. When I was younger, we used to burn the bad guys with lighters and with lighter fluid and stuff, blowing them up and putting firecrackers on them. And
so you were Sid from Toy Story. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. I was.
I had every. I'm a collector. That's why still to this day, my mom kept everything except for my G.I. Joes. I give her a hard time all the time. I'm like, where are my G.I. Joe? I had Refrigerator Perry. I had all of them, all the special ones.
Well, when I was a kid, they only had the 12-inch GI Joes. You didn't get the 3 3/4-inch figures yet.
Yeah, that was old school. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only time I remember playing with GI Joes was when I took a couple of my sister's Barbie dolls and Barbie beat him up and stole his Jeep.
That's funny and very girl power of you. I love it.
I used to take my sister's Barbies and I would draw tattoos on them with Sharpies, and I would take electrical tape and I would cut it out and make harnesses and bras and like fetish gear for them.
One of my brothers
I love
would do
that.
just horrendous things to my sister's Barbies and like hang them from the ceiling in the basement just to freak her out.
You know what? My
Mm.
sister threw a right hook like a guy, so no one messed with my sister's anything.
Slim, were you born in a leather harness, or you just kinky from the start?
Yeah, I was kinky from a young age for sure. Without even knowing it, I was already doing fetish stuff that I didn't realize until later. It's like, oh, that's like a harness. Oh, that's like a cross you hang people on, whip them, and I was doing all that stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Until when I was 14 or 15, my friend's mom had us start building sex furniture for her because she was a dominatrix. So I was building St. Andrew's crosses. I was building all kinds of fun stuff because they knew what we could do how to like cut and build. So her and my, her son and I and another friend, we would build all the stuff that she needed for her dungeon.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious. They recently, when you said that, they recently shut down all the like bathhouses and stuff in downtown LA and around here because of COVID. And the owners ran out of money and everything. So most clubs and gyms and spas are closed now.
We have 3 private dungeons in Denver that I believe are still open, but you have to do a private party. You can only have like 10 people in there. Like, it's so strict right now. It's so stupid.
People aren't taking shit serious.
It makes sense. No, I know it makes sense. Just it's just people in certain things have better understanding of how to take care of cleaning and cross contamination and stuff. I do understand, and I got all the thingy mabobbers. I got my booster and all of that, and I wear my mask as much as possible in public. But we lost a very major part of the culture in northern Colorado because of that.
Oh, same here in California, and because of gentrification, they've torn down a lot of the places where people in the LGBTQIA plus community used to hang out. So they've kind of destroyed Hollywood, like West Hollywood. It's sad times right now because everything's been commercial. Corporations are taking over everything.
Corporations are buying up all of the single-family small homes and refusing to sell them. They plan on renting them only because they want to create a permanent underclass of renters that will never own a home.
They already have that here.
And that's going to be the biggest effect from COVID, that we're going to lose, all the single owner and family run businesses, and the corporations are just going to buy up even more of it. Because the corporations are going to get through it just fine. But, the places that, there were a lot of places, especially restaurants, that, they had to go 6 months without income and they still had to be, paying the rent or the mortgage on their building.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of small businesses died.
It's happening here. Demolition Man is becoming true. Because there's only going to be certain corporations. Like, even like Carl's Jr.'s are closing here because people would rather go to McDonald's for some reason. I don't know why, but
because McDonald's is a bit cheaper.
It's
we don't have Carl's Jr. We got Hardee's, which is really the same chain.
Oh, it's the exact same company.
Like Checkers and Rallies.
Yeah, same company.
Yeah.
Isn't Carl's Jr. associated with some bigotry or something with that company? Or nothing something else?
A long time ago, someone told me that, but like, I grew up like around like black nationalists, Hispanic nationalists, they said everybody was racist. So after a while, I don't even know anymore because they'll say, "Oh, this corporation is racist," or this.
There was something about one of the owners of the company. I forget exactly what they found that he was involved in.
They said Carl Kutcher was in the KKK, but there's no like real proof. But also in the same sense, the man's come and gone. So if you want to dig up his grave and yell at him, go right ahead.
Yeah.
You know, this country was founded by racists, so really we'd have to chuck everything in the ocean if we wanted to.
What? It was? No way. Show me through.
This is my sock face.
I recently trashed somebody in the community, and I don't feel bad, and I do, but like they were kind of like, I don't even know how to say this nice. Certain theists believe have crazy ideas, okay? And I was just trying to point out to this person that history itself is told by the victors. And when we think of history, the average person, and I called this person a young earth creationist, and they didn't understand what I was saying. But when we think of time in moments. We don't think of it as in geological time of hundreds of years, thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. And man has existed a long time before the European way of life came around. Is what I was trying to say. You know.
But one of the big disputes of the First Continental Congress was when it started, the majority of them thought that only landowners should be allowed to vote.
I'd get a vote.
Yeah, but they didn't think that poor people were smart enough to vote.
That's actually technically you wouldn't, because you're half Mexican and half black.
Yeah, but I own half my town.
Landowner under their system. You wouldn't have had a chance to own land.
I got in so much trouble when I was in the 4th grade. They had us write what your experience would be when you come over the train, like into the Sierra Nevada Valley. Like, what would you experience? And I wrote, I wouldn't experience anything. I would have been a slave. They called my parents. They brought in a counselor. It was like a big deal. My mom's, when she's having a bad day, she'll call me and laugh about that, you know. But I was being historically accurate, because technically they didn't let people of color on trains unless you were a porter back then.
As long as Sierra Nevada would have consented, I would have came all over her. I mean, never mind.
Oh, I know her. She definitely would say yes. Matter of fact, come on down. She does parties, Slim. Come on down.
I'm there. I'm there.
Sierra Nevada and Santa Monica Mountains, both of them.
Oh, Santa Monica is my favorite. Yeah, I love her. I've been inside her a bunch.
I live right by her.
and Ox makes a point here that they would not have considered the Native Americans to be landowners, even though they owned the whole continent before the Europeans got here.
I heard this really awful thing that was true. It was a comedian, but he was saying, like, he was basically saying, don't invite people to dinner. But he was saying when the Europeans showed up in Africa, the first thing the Africans did was invite them to dinner. When they showed up in the Polynesian Islands, the first thing the Polynesians did was invite them to dinner. When they showed up, in America, the first thing they did, the Americans took them to dinner. Don't bring people to your home.
Yeah, but what happened? What happened when they met the Maori, whatever?
Maori don't. Yeah, the Maori
they invited them to dinner, and they said, "You want to know what we're having for dinner? The people that we just killed." And they said, "No, we're cool. We'll just split the island with you. like we're cool."
But they're basically trying.
We don't want to be dinner. We're like, we don't want to be dinner.
It was just basically saying, don't invite colonizers to dinner.
Exactly. Kick them the fuck out.
Well, he was talking he was talking about how black it was a 1960s thing. And he was talking about how black people are too nice and they need to assert themselves. And I watch a lot of stuff from the 60s. I always say when I was younger I wanted to be a 5% Muslim, but then I found out that it was a real religion and it wasn't just like watching Malcolm X and smoking weed. So that stopped it real quick because I love pork. But there's nothing wrong with being okay with who you are. That's my whole thing. And so for as much as I trash religion, there's nothing wrong with standing up and being able to look someone in the eye. And if you need a religion to do that, then hey, I'm against it, but I'm not going to,
Islam will never catch on in the U.S. just because nobody is going to give up bacon.
Oh, no, not Lord Bacon. I came from a very hardcore, rigid background. So for me, it was switching one master for another. And I was like, I'm good. I came from controlling parents. I don't need controlling friends.
Doesn't the Quran also say that you shouldn't drink alcohol? So that's no beer, no bacon. Like, never gonna catch on.
Or wear lilac. And go look at your deodorant, look at your soap. What do we wear that doesn't have lilac in it? So you end up, in the West,
Okay.
No, it's hardcore. But I consider the 5%ers. I'm going to give away secrets like they do with Scientologists. The 5% Muslims, it's an American religion. They believe that their Lord and Savior was Faraj Muhammad and that he already came back. So to me, I always considered them atheists because their God came and died, because their God was a living person. And they'll tell you, no, he died. There's a bunch of crap behind it, but I always considered that religious really, because most Muslims don't consider 5% Muslims. They don't consider that a religion. They consider it heresy. But
okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
But they look at them like we would look at Mormons. That's why they're constantly praising Faraj Muhammad because he was their savior and gave them a book and everything.
And you know how we feel about Mormons, so just think of that.
When I was younger, I just wanted to be like Malcolm X. I didn't realize there was a whole religion behind it.
I've done 2 shows in Salt Lake City, Utah, so I've had some fun experiences going over there and performing.
It's the only place I've ever been where I've been pulled over at least 12 times. And I've driven through the South speeding and I didn't get pulled over.
Oh, I believe it, bro. Yeah.
Utah is no joke. They see those California plates. One cop even told me, you had California plates, so I pulled you over.
Colorado plates are why we got pulled over. They saw Colorado and they were like, so where's the weed at? And we're like, no, we don't got any. We did have it everywhere, but we just told them no, and they didn't search and they let us buy. But they told us you have Colorado plates.
That's pretty much universal. That if you have out-of-state plates, you're like 5 times as likely to get stopped.
Not here, true. Man. Everybody has
out-of-state plates in Cali. Yeah.
Well, they changed the law where they have this new law where if you're here more than a month, you're a resident, so you have to get an ID. Because because what happens is people from Arizona come over here and never switch their ID over, or people from Oregon because their IDs last longer than California, because in California they make you check in every 5 years.
Is it 5? Okay.
Like in Arizona, well, see, they changed the law, but in Arizona back in the day, your license was good for 50 years. And I went to school in Arizona.
My girlfriend has an ID from Arizona that's doesn't expire or something like that. Like, it's crazy how long it's valid for.
Yeah. I have one because I went to college there, and mine expires 2047.
That is insane.
Mm.
Oh, every time I get pulled over, a cop is like, "Are you serious? You joking? Are you effing joking?" And they go back and they're like, hoping I have a warrant or something. They're like, "This is real." They trip out.
We've had twice now that she's shown her ID to a bar and they're like, "This is fake," and then we go and we show them. We look it up on our phone and say, "No, actually, in Arizona they have a 40-year. Yeah, I don't even remember what time limit it is that she has on hers, but it's stupid long."
They changed the law, but if you got it past a certain year, it's good. They honor it.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, like the younger generation will never know the joy of not having to renew your license. But because I had a bunch of because I went through divorce court, and like in divorce court, that's when I found out all the laws, because they ran my name 1,000 times. But like in America, it's different in every state. Honestly, in California, our tickets start at 1,700, and they do that to bankrupt people and put them in jail. I don't know how people can even afford to drive in between gas, the high tickets.
Well, that's why I had to leave California. That's why I live in Colorado and haven't moved back, because I grew up in San Diego. I can't live in San Diego, no matter how much I want to or try. I can't.
I got lucky. Most people I know can't afford to buy their own parents' house back. Oh, dude, it's outrageous here. It's outrageous.
Wow.
The average person, you have to make at least $170,000 a year just to be on board around here.
Well, even in the late 90s, I had to have like 5 roommates, or we had 4 roommates in an apartment that had like 2 rooms or something like that.
Yeah.
Just so we can make a rent. So everybody put in $500 for a $2,000 apartment in 1998 or 99 or whatever in San Diego. I mean, it was stupid back then, but when you were putting on raves and selling drugs, we had enough money to be able to do that crap. Obviously, I'll say this once more. I've been clean off of hard drugs for 16 years now. So, I will mention this stuff, but I've been clean for a long time.
Oh, same. That's why when I tell my war stories, I have to come with disclaimers, because none of this stuff happened last week.
Exactly.
None of it happened last week. Kitty, isn't Florida outrageous too, though? As far as prices? Because,
I mean, honestly, it's kind of bad everywhere. Like, depending on where you are in Florida, a 1-bedroom apartment is going to run you at least 700 to 800. And that's like in the not super expensive areas. Studio apartments are comparable to that. It really depends on where you go. A lot of apartment places now are doing things where you have to submit an application fee of like $75 to $100, and they don't refund it.
yep.
Yeah.
And they won't tell you information about the listing until you've paid the application fee, which is really shitty.
Right now, we have.
I understand in Florida you can get a basement apartment real cheap.
Let me go on Facebook. We have these, like, I'm in these groups where it's these outrageous, like, people want $3,500 for a 2-bedroom 1-bath apartment. They want that much a month. Like, and when you look at the post, it's nothing but laughing faces right now, because people are getting outrageous amount prices for their cars that have chips in them. Everyone's selling their trucks for 40 grand, 50 grand. People have lost their damn mind here in California. Like, honestly, and whoever's paying those high prices, you're ruining the market.
Totally. Well, in Denver, it's becoming just like California. I mean, it's $1,200 for a 1-bedroom and 1-bath and stuff like that, or even more. And my friends who have houses, they have to have, roommates for every room and some on the couch. And I mean, I can't even move back to Denver right now, being in Fort Collins. I'll be here for probably another year. And then we're almost getting priced out of Fort Collins as well.
Oh, people, when I walk around, like, I walk a mile every day now with my son. And like, when we walk around the neighborhood, people look at us like, how the heck can these two afford to live here? You know, not knowing that I'm like one of the only owners around here, when most people around here are renting. It's crazy times. It's inflation everywhere though, so I don't feel bad. To be fair, Ox, people in California never had our minds in the first place. We're spoiled by sunshine. We get sunshine and
yeah, anybody in Cali is pretty much spoiled for sure. I mean, yeah.
Weather-wise, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, like and everything's there. You're able to do a lot of stuff. There's such multicultural stuff around you as well. Maybe not in the middle of California, but you know, San Diego, LA, SF,
oh heck yeah.
You definitely have like every kind of culture around you. You're exposed to a lot of stuff. So I was spoiled growing up in San Diego because I didn't realize how white bread it is here in Fort Collins until I moved here, and I was like, oh my god, everybody's white. This is so weird.
No, same for me. It was culture shock to go to a restaurant and not see Hispanic, like all Hispanic or black people on the staff.
Yeah, totally.
It was like culture shock for me. Or like in Oregon, they don't you don't pump your own gas. I'll never forget the first time I pulled up. Some guy's walking up to me and I'm like going in my car for my tire iron. Because in LA, like someone comes up to you like that, you're gonna get down with somebody. The guy just wanted to pump my gas.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get up. So bye.
Okay,
Bye,
Micro. Bye. When we toured in Oregon and Washington, one of those states, you couldn't pump your own gas, and it was so weird to like pull up, have some dude come up, ask you how much, put in the gas, and then we drove away. I was like, what the heck is this weird stuff? Like, I don't get it at all, and it's illegal to pump your own gas.
Yeah, in Oregon, it's illegal.
Yeah.
100%. And well, they just changed the law, and I actually got a bunch of FUs on Facebook because when they changed the law years back, I put a picture of Isaiah pumping gas, and I'm like, here's a 9-year-old teaching everyone in Oregon how to pump their own gas, because no one knew how to pump their own gas in Oregon at all. People who had lived there their whole life had never put the gas in their car ever.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it is so weird for the rest of the country though, for sure. Like when you're touring, it's so weird to go there and have to like not pump your gas. And if you show up at like 2 a.m. or in the middle of the night, if there's not an attendant, you're screwed. We almost got stuck at a gas pump one time because we forgot, and we got done with a show at 2 a.m. started driving, and we're like, oh, we're gonna run out of gas, and we pulled up and we're like, oh, we can't pump gas and it's closed, and they locked the pumps.
Yeah.
So we were like, what the heck do we do? So we were able to like barely get to a hotel. So we went like a mile to get to the hotel, and then I think we had to walk to get gas the next day.
Oh hell yeah, Santa Cruz, California is like that. I got stuck at a pump when I was in my beach bum surfer days. I got stuck at a pump because I didn't know that the entire town shuts down at 10 o'clock at night.
Exactly, yeah.
I had no idea, I miss those days. Back when I had long hair, no responsibility, and a crappy car.
Oh, I miss touring back in the day. It was so much fun touring. And you didn't have a care in the world.
I still have my it's a 5-fin 6'2" Silver Strand surfboard, and like that thing and we traveled around for 20 years together. I look at it like it's a person. I'm looking at it right now. It's in the rafters above my head. Maybe that'll be my midlife crisis. I'll start surfing again.
My friend had a 1965 or 68 VW bus that we toured the country in, and the light baby blue powder coating and the white top, like every time I see anything close to that, I just like have the reminiscence of us just like living in that van for months upon time, you know, like long we lived in that van.
My I think it was 6th grade math teacher had the Beetle version of that powdered blue VW Beetle.
Yep.
Fucking man, like that brings up some memory.
A good friend of mine had one of those cars. We thought we were so cool. His was black.
Yeah.
He had Walmart speakers in it. He would bump. Good old days in high school. Oh man, those were good old days.
You want to know how I learned how to drive stick? My homie was driving his VW bus that I was just speaking about, driving down the road, and he goes, "Hey, let me teach you how to drive stick." I went, "Okay." He jumps on my lap in the middle of driving, throws me into the driver's seat, and goes, "Start figuring it out." So I was already in third gear when I had to figure out how to go up and down in gears.
My dad.
I learned on my buddy's truck in the parking lot of basically like a shopping center after hours. He was going to be replacing the transmission in the truck anyway, so he didn't care if I wrecked it. And that's where I learned how to drive stick.
That would be the best situation.
My father took me out to the local college that has a giant parking lot, handed me the keys. He gets out and he starts walking, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he says, by the time you figure it out, I'll either be halfway home, or you'll pick me up.
Yeah, exactly.
And I almost passed his ass because I was mad at him, but I figured it out.
Nice.
I picked him up. But my dad was old school. He was old school. He showed me, but he was trying to prove
Sink
a
or
point.
swim, bitch.
Yeah, he was trying to prove a point. Like, you'll figure it out, dude.
And now a stick shift is the best theft deterrent you can have in a car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how
Yeah.
to drive.
So few people know how to drive it.
So few people know how to drive them, and because nobody knows how to drive them, they have a lower resale value, so they don't want them anyway.
Really?
Yep.
I used to flip cars, but
There
I
just
don't
isn't
have a
much
heart for
demand
it.
for them, so they're hard to sell.
Well, there was a point in time where having a manual transmission, it was more fuel efficient because you could, switch gears better than, an automatic. But now the computer systems are so good that there's really no difference, or sometimes automatics can get better fuel economy than manual.
Well, it was always the case that if you were good at driving them, you could get better performance with a manual. If you were bad at driving them, you'd get worse performance with a manual.
The one thing that killed me, I got mine, my second one I owned when I lived in the heart of LA, and I would get stuck on the freeway or stuck in traffic, so it's, you're sitting there just like it's not fun.
Come
when
here, you
you're
want to
stuck
show
in
it off?
traffic
My
with a
friend
stick.
Purple will want to see. Come here, come show off your blue spaceship.
Yeah, we want to see.
Ooh, I love it.
Spaceship! Sorry, I can't do the Benny impersonation.
But
I
this
love
he
Benny.
just built all on his own.
Awesome.
That's cool.
It's really funny.
If you want to take pictures of it, I could feature it in one of my stories about the Galactic Alliance.
I will do that. If he does not take it apart before I get the chance, I will.
I recently showed. Have you seen the new Lego commercial where they say "all ages welcome"?
In fact, you know what? I'm going to set it up here on display.
Because Isaiah, like he still plays with his Legos, and he was kind of embarrassed. I said, "Bro, I'm old and I still play with Legos."
Well,
I like Legos.
And
I
we went to
shouldn't let you in on the conspiracy, but they had to get rid of Betty White because she was too old to play with Lego.
But we recently went to the storage unit, and he pulled his army guys out, and I said, "Hey, man, you're never too old to play with your GI Joes either. Pull them out." I'm excited.
So long as we're talking about toys, because there are certain things you can't pull out in polite society.
Yes.
Without getting in trouble.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. And of course,
Oh.
I took the black guy.
Yeah.
So
This
Will,
is-
Purple, you're not
my
gonna
main
guess
character.
what my mom got my son for Christmas. A fucking Stretch Armstrong. I have not seen one of those since I was a kid. But she saw one of the stores. She's like, I have to get this. I have to do it.
Apparently, they've brought them back, and Netflix even has a series about them.
There was a show when I was a kid about Stretch
On
Armstrong.
Netflix, there's a Stretch Armstrong cartoon.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I've recently been backing off of my YouTube addiction a little bit because it's been triggering. So I've crawled back to watching Star Trek, and I've crawled back to Netflix. So there's all kinds of interesting stuff I've rediscovered on Netflix.
Will, do you have Disney Plus?
Yeah, because hockey got privatized, so I had to purchase ESPN Plus, and so I just bought the bundle.
Yeah, the Hulu, ESPN, Disney bundle, it's fucking dope. Under $20 a month, you get 3 things. I don't care about the ESPN because I don't watch sports, but my dad could utilize it, you know, and I'm there for the Hulu and the fucking Disney Plus.
It's changed. I have never watched so much hockey, and the thing is now I can watch it at work. I can watch it in the bathroom. I can because it's on my phone. So it's bad. It's just another addiction I didn't need. But the shitty thing is, going back to corporations, hockey has been privatized. What do people who can't afford the $20 do? You can't watch your home team now on certain nights. And like, if you don't have money for Spectrum, you can't watch the Dodgers because the Dodgers are only on Spectrum. Like, I don't know. It's just it's sports in
That's
general
the
has been
whole
privatized.
thing. You know, that cable TV got way out of hand, and that's it. It's something that poor people can't even watch TV anymore.
Yeah, it's
I don't even have cable anymore.
I do because
we don't. Well, I haven't had cable TV for a long time, but you know, the cable provider is about the only way I can get internet here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I obviously I have an internet plan through Spectrum, but I don't have the television or any of the other stuff. We switched to Spectrum from AT&T because AT&T was just doing really badly. Like, we had we had Uverse for a long time, and they promised speeds that they weren't delivering. Like, speed tests were showing like it was only like fucking 10 to 25% of what they said we should be getting. And it's like, I understand that depending on load, you're going to have different, you know, ups and downs. But when you're in the 10 to 25% of what you were promised, no. You know,
That's not good. Yeah.
Whereas, you know,
well, and especially
with Spectrum, I haven't noticed really an issue other than every now and again, random drops, like usually around like 11 to 1 a.m., like where it'll cut out for a couple minutes and then it'll be fine again. So I'm like, oh, they're probably just working on the lines or something.
Same.
It's annoying, but it's minor.
Yeah,
I get the same thing here. I have same.
Well, I was going to say, especially when I'm running the speed tests at 3 o'clock in the morning when there's virtually no one else on, I should be getting decent speeds.
Oh, it drives me crazy. I went full Karen the other night. My internet shut out completely. First, it's funny to watch Isaiah go through real life drug withdrawals when the internet is cut off because he runs out here and he's like, "Call Spectrum right now. We need to sue somebody." But they tell you like they're working on the line. He wanted to go drive around and look for the truck. I'm like, bro, it's 1 a.m. We can't do it. But they do it all the time around here. But we have an old infrastructure, so they're constantly working on it and trying to build up a better one.
No, and that's fine if they're actually, you know, trying to improve things. You know, I can tolerate that.
I can't because I don't sleep at night. I have really crappy cycles.
Yeah, well, I don't either, but, you know, I'm allowing for, they're trying to do it when it will inconvenience the least number of people.
Yeah. I mean, better than like the middle of the day, you know, where people might be working or something. But, you know, one thing I'm glad for is having unlimited data plan on my phone. So if the internet does go down, then I can just use cellular data to stream whatever I want while I'm trying to fall asleep.
Same. Isaiah's discovered that too. But I got a backup battery for my panels, so we haven't had that problem in a while. As far as the
And
power
my
going
unlimited
out.
data plan comes with HBO Max for free, which is nice.
Ooh.
Our cell phone plan, we get HBO Max for free. So like I get to watch HBO movies and series and stuff like that, which is pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
That's why
thinking
being
about
a cyborg is so awesome. I'm my own cell tower. Never mind.
I had a serious talk with Isaiah recently. Like
Yeah,
I
laughing
asked
at
him,
that.
I'm like, do you really watch cable? Because I obsessively watch sports, but like if I got rid of my cable, then I could just watch it online. Because our cable is it's a good amount of money. And
Yeah,
after
well,
Christmas,
here
Oh,
even
sorry,
the
go ahead.
basic cable that doesn't give you very much starts at like $50 a month.
Oh yeah. And I have like all the upper channels and it's tied in with my Wi-Fi and everything. And I got one hell of a deal, but like I could cut a lot of that out. I don't know. I got a almost $600 light bill for December. So I've been going through my finances and been like, why am I bleeding money? But it's because I have the lights on all the time.
$600 though, that yeah.
Christmas
I mean,
lights. and everything.
California. Like we in the
Yeah, it just
summertime will
sounds like
sometimes
that's
get
using a lot more than
$300-$400
lights.
light bills. We can get light bills in the hundreds and hundreds of dollars in the dead of summer here in Florida because got that AC going so that you don't
Same.
fucking melt.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's the problem. I have the heater going. And Isaiah, back in the day, it's just Isaiah and I here, okay? We, during a normal school year, neither one of us would be home for 6 to 7 hours during the day. But now, ever since COVID, we're home 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Or even when I go to work, he comes with me. I'm gone for 2 or 3 hours. I yell at everybody and then come home.
Yeah.
And like I'm at home 90% more than I was back in the day. And I have every light in here. I have a backup panel in this room because I know I'm pulling a ton of power. So I know it's me. I can't even blame.
Well, when I stream, I've got 2 ring lights on. I got 2 cameras on. I got my computer on. I've got another fan on, and I have a 12-channel mixer that I run my microphone through. So I have a 12-channel mixer on. I have computer. I mean, I have so much electronics on for 4 hours a day. I've been streaming since I moved out away from the farm. That I'm just pumping out so much energy. It's not even funny.
Well, the lights, especially if you've got LEDs, don't really draw much compared to what things used to draw.
Yeah, no, it's not the LEDs, but it's like the amplifier, the audio amplifier I run. It has like 2 fans in it. It has 12 channels, which is funny because I'm only running 1 microphone out of it. But that's what I have for doing shows when I tour the country. I just bring my sound system with me. And if I show up to an event and they're like, I don't have a microphone for you, I just go, well, I got my own sound system. Here we go.
Damn right.
And then I charge them another $200, $250 if I have to bring my own sound. So that's another charge I can put on top of it. So it makes it worth my time to bring my own sound.
Yeah, because they're unprofessional and wasting your time too.
Totally, for sure. Like that's what I'm going to have to do for the wedding reception. It's going to be at somebody's house, the wedding reception. So I'm bringing my own sound so that we have actual audio. So that's another $200 I'm going to throw onto the $600 they're going to pay me.
Oh, heck yeah. We have at the auditorium up at my job, we have a full sound system. And that's just, to put on like crummy plays and watch movies and stuff. Man, those porn bots have been attacking you, Purple.
Oh,
it's become a regular thing. Everyone's streaming.
I had 5 or 6 Russian bots on my Cookie McSweet Pit stream yesterday. So they just wanted to be inside of us. So
Oh, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's just the way it's gotten on YouTube. Nobody can run a stream without getting some of them in there.
even if you have like 5 people watching, like you'll still get them. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, and that's why, I really appreciate the people who have been modding here, especially like Ox and Robert X usually get them.
Yeah, thank you all for that. That's why I made everybody blue in my chat. Anytime I do a stream, if you're not blue, just let me know, and I will make you a mod if we know you, obviously.
Yeah.
But if everybody's a mod, then I don't have to worry about it. I can go ahead and do my whole stream and not have to worry about checking out the bots or, getting rid of people.
Well, and, like sometimes I'm doing something in another window or something, and I can't always be watching the side chat.
Well, when we play games on my stream, I have to have the game. I don't have 2 monitors like I should. I want to buy another video card for that. But like when we're playing games, I can't see the chat, so I have to let everybody in the side chat monitor that for me. So luckily, I have a great bunch of people, just like all of you on the panel, that will help me out with that. Yeah,
Trolls are crazy though, because I watch really crazy stuff on YouTube. Like I watch a bunch of lo-fi channels because I like to chill out. And someone will come in there and be like, have you heard the good news of Jesus Christ? I will write, get the F out of here, dude. What are you doing with your life? Like you're trolling a chill channel. What the hell's wrong with you? Trolls trip me out. I don't have the attention span.
That is the one thing I am surprised I have not gotten more of the Christian trolls in here. I really only had one that came and he didn't last very long.
When I game stream, when I do like gameplay and I stream it off of my PS, I get a handful of trolls. Like that's the time where I have to deal with like people being stupid in my chat.
I don't get, like, I'm down to talk trash. I go hypoglycemic every once in a while, but I'm not going to sit on every stream and chase someone down. Be like, I don't like you. On the internet, you literally have to go chase someone down to tell them you don't like them. That's why when someone comes at me, I'm like, you had to come looking for me to tell me you don't like me. Like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. I don't have the emotional energy just to be social with people I like. I'm not going to waste it on people I don't like.
I'm selfish in that sense where I'm not going to give you that energy because like I got other things to do, like sewing or playing Mario. That reminds me, I need to finish my Charlie Sheen shirt.
I like to play with them like a cat plays with a mouse. I like to bat them around a little bit and play with them and not kill them at first. So I have fun with my trolls. They become a pet to me.
Ox is right though, because I've heard my son plays GTA, and like before I bought him headphones, I would hear some of the most. I would be walking down the hallway and I'd walk in his room like, "What are you playing, bro? What are you playing?" People they say awful stuff.
They're very horrible in GTA. It's a very, very toxic. And same with one of the other military shooting games. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Yeah, totally.
Call of Duty?
Yep. There's so many people that go in there and they're just so racist and they're just so like asshole-ish. You know what I'm saying?
I had to laugh because they always say like, you sound like the N-word. You sound like that's exactly. An insult? Is that an insult, bro? Like
well, I hear that in GTA Online, I hear the N-word so much. I'm like,
yeah,
bro, like what the heck is going on? And then of course everybody's calling me a white boy, which I don't really care about. But it's like, are you really trying to make it racist just because I'm kicking your ass in a game? Like, seriously, why do we not make it this way? Just be like, I'm better than you, bro. Or when there's a 12-year-old kicking my butt, I'm like, hey, good on you, bro. Like, I think cool. I'm glad that you're able to do this. You know, why be negative?
And a lot of people, someone will say like, they'll say, I'm from LA, and they'll start gangbanging online or something, and I'm like, you're pathetic.
I hate that.
Okay, the ones who are like 10 to 15, I kind of expect it because they
Yeah.
haven't matured enough yet.
Yeah. But it's
But
like the 30-year-olds. It's the 30-year-olds that are like, blah, 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 blah to you. And you're like, bro, you're fucking old. Like, why are you talking to me that way?
Yeah. Well, and at that point, it's like, okay, if this is a big enough part of your life that you're getting that wound up about it, you've got a pretty sad life.
I call it murder mouth. They get crazy online. There was a YouTuber who was from Palmdale, California. I can't remember his name. He was black. He got banned from Xbox like 9 times. He just go buy a new Xbox. But he would go to these gaming tournaments and physically fight people.
Okay, I don't even know the abbreviation. What's DCUO?
Oh, I gotta look up that guy's. What's that guy's name? But it's just like, because I was never into the gaming world. Let's be real. Like, I still play Mario and I still play Sonic.
Yep. Well, that's the
so
same with me. That I play some of the old arcade games. I never got into any of the online role-playing games. And the way things
Exactly.
have gone, I don't want to. I'm glad that I did not get into those things the way I see the communities now.
Well, there's a way to make sure that you don't get into that toxicity. You can mod the way that you get into a server and stuff like that. So you can kind of monitor that a little bit.
I will say, of all of the online games that I've played, the one with the best.
Kitty, you just broke up on us.
No, your mic died. Did your mic die?
Unplug and plug back in, maybe.
Yeah, because it's showing you're muted, and I didn't mute you.
Red Dead Redemption Online is an awesome online world. Every once in a blue moon, you will come across grifters, but most of the time, it's pretty okay, comparatively to GTA. If you're just in the open world in GTA Online, you're just going to get striped, or people are just going to blow you up. So.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
My son has a.
Kitty,
Kitty, I see your lips moving, but we still don't hear anything from you.
My son has ASD, so he has higher tolerance, but like I can't take what some of these people are saying. That's why I bought him a headphone and mic and the headphone.
I just have to brush it off because every time I go in, I start kicking somebody's butt. They're just like blah 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 blah, all this negativity, and I just have to be like, whatever, homie, whatever. Just because you can't play the game.
Exactly, and you know what? It's sad to me that grown adults can't. It's okay.
Now we can hear you.
I think it's more of a generational
I tried
thing.
to unmute you, and it said your mic wasn't connected.
Well, the problem was I'm on my phone, and I got a phone call from my partner, so that overrode it. Yeah. As I was saying, like the game that I play, it's a free-to-play game that you don't have to pay anything now, and there's no pay to win because it just saves you grinding. It's like someone who pays for the thing or someone who just plays to earn the thing. It's the same. Like there's really no difference. The only thing that you can pay for, other than just getting things without having to grind them, is cosmetic stuff. But it does have some PvP, but I've never really done the PvP. The storyline's really good. It's a game called Warframe. And the community for Warframe is fucking phenomenal. You go in there to the global chat and, let them know that, hey, I'm a new player, like any suggestions, blah, blah, blah. They will fucking hook you up. People will randomly fucking meet up with you and just hand you shit. Like they are really nice.
That's very true, yes.
Okay.
I've never seen a toxic person really in that game.
Yeah.
Me neither.
That's the kind of thing I could get into because, when it comes right down to it, I've just never been that competitive anyway. I've just always been more feeling that, there's enough to go around. We don't have to be fighting over everything.
So yeah, if you decide you want to do like Purple Streams a video game, I would say Warframe. You don't have to pay any money. The community is not toxic. And, you know, it's actually a really fun game with a really cool story. And they just came out with more content for it because the game itself is a labor of love. Digital Extremes, like, they wanted to make this project, and rather than, like, they weren't getting funding for it, so they just said, fine. Or they were told by the company they were working for that they couldn't make it, and they're like, fine, fuck you, we'll start our own company. And they listen to player feedback. They're actually really good to their players. And I mean, they're a great company, and the game is great, and you never have to pay for new content. I mean, sometimes it's slow to release, but again, it's free to play. So I can't really complain that, you know, it's been 3 years since they were teasing the new war, and it's just come out recently. But it's free to play. So, you know, and there's a lot of story there. There's actually one story arc mission that it fucking gutted me because it talks about this little boy Rel, who is special, different, and the way it's described, they don't say it, but it seems like he's on the spectrum. And like in flashbacks, you see like neglect, like being shunned by other people. I'm like, Jesus Christ, fucking gut punch. But it's so good.
Will you let the people or the beings here know the premise a little bit more for the game?
Okay, so basically, Warframe is this. You had humans in their infinite wisdom. They created these things, basically AI robots that could self-replicate because they wanted to send them to, I believe it was the Tau system, to prepare it for human colonization. They end up going through the void, essentially, and it kind of sterilizes them. So they're not able to self-reproduce, but they realize, hey, why the fuck are we over here doing this for the humans? Like, let's just go fuck up the humans. So they turned, you know, on their human masters, basically. And so nothing was working to stop them until there were these kids that had been touched by the void, and they basically weaponized them using something known as transference to allow them to mentally control basically a mechanical, biological symbiote machine. Each machine has different abilities. Like one of the first ones is Mag. She has magnetic abilities. You've got Volt with electricity. One of my favorites is the BDSM crazy cat lady, Cora, who one of her abilities is her pet cat, and she has some fucking Silent Hill shit where she can do a cage of barbed wire that will reach down and snatch people up. She also has a whip made out of barbed wire as well. My favorite character. And then you've got like Trinity, who her focus is more on like healing and buffing. So like there's different roles. You've got Rhino, who is like tank beefy boy, and you learn a lot through playing through the storyline quest about like the history. And there's basically, you know, humans that have kind of changed. So you've got different factions. You have the Corpus, which are basically like your high tech people, and they kind of run the economies. Then you have your Grenier, which are your kind of genetically modified grunts, and they serve the Grenier Queen, who basically eats people to become immortal or to maintain immortality. And then you have the Infested, which were basically the experiment that made the Warframes. The precursor to it kind of fucked up royally and created the Infested, which is essentially a plague that's spreading across the star system, and if you come in contact with it, you get turned into a hideous Silent Hill / Resident Evil style monster. But the Warframes are immune to the infection because they are made partly of that infection.
Yeah.
Okay, just to be pedantic, if you have to do something to maintain it, you're not immortal.
Yes. Like, Grenier Queens are fucking batshit crazy. Like, I honestly believe that a human mind is not meant to live forever because you will go insane. Like, a few hundred years, maybe you could do it, but, like, beyond that, I don't
Doctor
think.
Who had a character called me in the Peter Capaldi era. Oh, hi.
Yep. Well, I was just seeing that, yeah, while Kitty was giving us the synopsis of the game, that, Will has gone out and mugged a lumberjack, apparently.
I can see that.
No, I'm doing justice to my Charlie Sheen shirt. Oh, I just dropped my phone.
Oh, Jesus,
Oh, okay.
right. Okay.
But it's if anyone's seen the movie, well, I have great lighting in here today. If anyone's seen the movie Major League,
Right.
I know exactly
Great
that
movie.
symbol. Yep.
so
Or logo.
Wild thing.
I had a really old shirt of Charlie Sheen that said Wild Thing, so I had to do justice to it because I played in the California Penal League as well.
There you
I
go.
played
Not
with
in
the
real life.
Penals in California as well. No, that's different. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I love that movie, so I had to do some justice. And yes, I did. I didn't rob a lumberjack. He gave it to me after he made me breakfast in the morning. So there you go.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I work all night and never mind.
And I smoke all day.
Well, yeah, to be fair, about half my relatives in Michigan dress that way.
It's funny. I stick out here in California because no one really wears flannel. When I lived in Oregon, it was part of the uniform. Everybody, it was like
It's part of
Everybody in
the
Colorado.
uniform.
Everybody in Colorado wears the flannel uniform.
I was filming earlier, so I'm all discombobulated.
Yeah, I refused to wear it when I lived up there just because I did not want anyone to ever get the impression I was even attempting to fit in.
That's why I can't wear camouflage of any kind here because I get associated with certain types.
Same. Like, I won't at all because I didn't serve, and around here it's like saying that you served.
Yeah, my sister gave me one of those, I Heart Michigan mugs. And I worked real hard with some fine grit sandpaper to rub out the heart and wrote intolerate. She did not appreciate the joke.
I very rarely wear camo. Like, I have some leggings that are camo print, and I have some, like, BDU pants that are camo, but those I only wear if I'm going to go out camping, and I know that we're going to be playing, like, hide and seek in the dark, which is one of my favorite things to do. I usually win. But, like, other than that, I don't wear camo. Although I do have, it almost looks like snake scale, but it's in a camel print with like a metallic green, a metallic blue, and then like a silver, and it's super shiny. These leggings, I just bought them and I fell in love with them. I didn't even care they were camo. I just loved the silver, the black, the green and blue, and the fact that it was shiny.
I don't know. If the camo is any good, you shouldn't be able to find it.
It's all about timing and location.
Are you kidding me? Here, our sheriffs, they the motorcycle division, they hide behind buildings waiting for people to speed past them. That's the greatest camo ever.
Yeah. Well, when you go on tour, the best thing was the camouflage outfits, the pants and the jackets, because they were waterproof and a bunch of other things. So the easiest thing to do was go to the Army surplus store and get camo stuff while you put it inside of your traveling backpack and stuff. And that was the easiest thing to do before it became a sign of a certain type of people. So we had a lot of camouflage stuff when we toured in the late 90s.
But that's the same thing like with my flags. Like, it's LGBTQIA plus people are Americans. People of color are Americans. That's why I do the flag shagger thing to remind people.
Totally.
Since I got some of you people here who know about style, maybe you can help me develop my own style here. Because Sloth Girl is, shall we say, very skeptical that I can still wear mostly denim without looking masculine.
I can make you a Mormon dress in 5 minutes. I can make you a denim dress in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I
Hemmed and
just
everything.
want some ideas, like especially like, maybe cuts and accessories for going with denim that would make it more feminine.
Well, so
Bedazzle that shit.
and well that's more but I'm half Mexican and Mexicans wear bedazzled shirts. You gotta first off
That's
you have to
very true.
wear the woman's cut, because
Yeah.
denim everything's cut different.
Mhm.
It's got to
You
be the
know?
short cut with long sleeves, and that would be
Yeah.
more feminine if you were to wear a jeans.
Yeah, I get that, and that the women's tend to, taper more in the waist.
Exactly. It's all about
Or crop top type stuff as well.
Yep.
Skirts or
Because I'm never gonna do the pink and frilly
pinafores.
thing. I wouldn't be able to pull that off, and I'm really not interested.
Are you gonna dress like a LDS with a really long skirt, or like there's a lot of Muslim women around here, and denim skirts sell a lot around here.
Well, I love denim skirts on women. Probably not something I could wear a whole lot on some occasions, but not a lot. So, more like maybe like knee-length skirts, not real short ones.
Yeah, I mean, you could do like a little
Will does
pinafore,
not
like,
like that at all.
Oh no, I was
denim
reading
pinafores
Ox's
would be
comment.
cute.
Oh.
Sorry, I was reading Ox's comment. I love what you're saying. No, because all that stuff, I could teach you how to make it in like 10 minutes and it would look great.
Has anybody made a denim harness?
What size do you need?
I don't know, but I want to see somebody wearing a denim harness. That would be hilarious. And like a strap on, how great that would be, a denim strap on. I mean,
What?
not the
If I had
instrument,
some
but the
things
thing
to go
holding
by, I
it.
could probably work one up.
That would be freaking hilarious to see a denim kink suit, kink outfit.
You're like, the gears in my head are moving. I'm literally sitting across
Well,
from
and
like
I
half of my
will
fabric.
Black denim corset.
Yes, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's do
That's
it.
not a bad idea.
There we go.
Well, I
Godless,
will need
there
some
we go.
things that, hopefully.
Oh, my name's Kitty,
eventually-
by the way.
Oh yes, no, I was talking to Godless, but I mean you too, Kitty. I mean both of y'all. If you were able to like make something like that, that would be wonderful. I want to see that.
Hopefully, eventually, we can start having group gatherings again, and I can start going back to some interesting parties. That was part of the thing of moving back to Minnesota, was I was supposed to be able to do that kind of stuff, and it would not be hard for me to, get back into some of the groups I used to party with.
I mean, it'll be hard, but easy getting back into it. Never mind.
I miss just going to Vegas. I haven't gone in almost 2 years, and my birthday's coming, and I'm like, nothing stopping
I want to go to
me.
Vegas and visit Omega Mart.
Oh wow!
What
It's
is
like-
Omega Mart?
There's
Yeah,
so many
It's an
places.
art installation that it's basically it's a grocery store, but everything in it is like tied into this whole world that they created, like film theory, or maybe it was game theory. I think it was game theory. But Matt Pat from those channels, he actually did or no, it might have been food theory. On one of his channels, he covered Omega Mart. Like there's like a mystery you can solve going through there, and you can go through tunnels that lead into like these weird parallel worlds, and like in universe, like the food is injected with like this stuff that is like super addictive, and they harvest it from people and then like put it into the food to make people want to buy more and more Omega Mart stuff. It's really interesting, and it just looks like fun. I'll find the link to the video and I'll send it to you, Parp.
They have one of the biggest gun stores I've ever been to. They have some of the biggest thrift stores. I miss going to Vegas in general, but because of COVID and their lax restrictions, I haven't gone because they don't care. They just want people to come in their casinos.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't matter if they die in 2 weeks. No one stays at a casino for 2 weeks.
Oh, they're begging me to come too because I'm signed up to every casino. I gamble. I have player cards. Every day I get pamphlets like, please come back. Please come back. Please come back to our casino. It's been 2 years and they have not stopped sending me mailers. They're gonna send
I
a slot
understand that.
machine. Oh, sorry.
I said, I understand that completely. I went to a couple of casinos in Niagara Falls when I used to live in Ontario 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've moved to a different province now, and they found me, and they're still sending me mail.
Exactly.
Yep.
They want you
So-
back. They totally want you back.
So I learned an interesting fact. Like today, I learned that there's an area in Canada, I believe it's Alberta, that rats are illegal, and it is a super serious thing if you try to have a pet rat. And if they find any rats, like they just get deleted from the census immediately. They declared it a national security crisis. So it is like one of the only areas in the world where there aren't really any rats.
I've never heard of this.
Wow, that's crazy.
I heard about it. Like I said, I think it's Alberta,
I
but
I'm doing a Google search right now.
I
would
fucking
think
heard
that
about
would
it today. I
only
was like,
work on
that
an
sounds
island.
insane.
All
But
right,
it made me laugh so fucking hard because I'm just imagining them going after these fucking rats, like with Mausers with fucking laser scopes and fucking.
So
It just
according to
created a
Lord
really
Google,
hilarious.
according to Lord Google, Alberta is the only province in Canada that does not have any rats and is, in fact, the largest inhabited area on the planet that is rat-free. Rats have
There you
come
go.
from Eastern. That's crazy.
So the land of starving cats.
I'm
Yeah,
sure they
cats
still
are-
have mice.
They're not starving. They're not starving here in Cali.
That's amazing how they're able to do that. Because I thought that they
There's
were
a
so invasive.
$5,000 fine associated with owning a rat.
Holy, what the?
I would not have thought you could get any area rat free unless it was an island, and even then, I don't think it would stay that way long.
I always thought that was a red flag when a woman owned an exotic animal, anyways. So, or a man. I always thought that was a red flag.
I don't consider it a red flag, but it's something I'm always skeptical of because most people don't really know how to care for them.
If they only have one exotic, then it's not a big problem. It's when they own multiple exotics that it's a problem.
Okay, perfect example. When I was 18, I worked for this company, and you meet people, they're randos, and I met someone who owned 4 illegal Argentine pythons, boas, some huge snake, and he would feed them rabbits, like live rabbits, and it traumatized me. It really did, because when rabbits sound like people when they scream.
They totally
They
do.
do.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
do. They sound like people. And so I think people, and he had just a 2-bedroom apartment, and he let these things live in one of the rooms. And there's these 4 deadly snakes just chilling in this room. Yeah. He would throw a rabbit and a snake would come out of nowhere and snatch it and then just like retract back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have no idea how they can say Alberta is rat-free, though, because it's a prairie province. There's no natural border between Alberta and Saskatchewan. There's rats in Saskatchewan because they don't have this law.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't see how you can do that.
I'm just
with
saying
an
what
area
I
that's
found
not-
out today.
Yeah,
Like,
and Lord Google backed it up.
Well, like I say, even an island, I don't think would stay rat-free because they're actually pretty good swimmers if they don't just come in on the next cargo ship.
No, you get humans there, they start telling on each other, so we're not rat-free.
They have this whole rat-free program with a toll-free number. If you see a rat, you call it, and they go there and they try and exterminate them.
yeah.
But if you see one, there's like 100 more there.
Exactly.
Exactly. So,
oh, rats are gross.
I mean, technically, guinea pigs are rodents, but they're adorable.
I worked on a farm where they would attack the chicken feed, and I have nightmares about that. Rats are gross. Rats are gross.
Well, I was living on a farm a couple months ago during the summer, and we had like a bunch of field mice that we had to kill. So I was killing 3 field mice a day for like 2 weeks straight or something like that until they got out of our trailer.
Yeah, they're awful, and they can't stop breeding. That's all they do.
Yeah. So I hate field mice more than I do rats.
Well, and actually, mice are a lot more prone to damaging pipes and wiring.
And disease, I believe. I think they carry more disease.
You're muted, Kitty.
No, I was just saying, I think rats, or at least, the fleas on the rats, carry more diseases.
Mice are very prone to carrying wood ticks.
See,
well, and I thought their feces had more stuff in it that was bad for humans than.
I think it's salmonella or E. coli, but then our feces has E. coli in it, so.
Yeah, so please don't eat your own.
That bacteria that are more likely to infect people can survive better in them.
Shoot them on sight. I'm an American. Shoot them on sight.
Because when I was looking up how to catch the field mice, they said do not get near them, and you have to clear out all their everything, So I had to I wore these huge gloves when I, would take them out and get them in their traps, and it was not fun.
Yeah, when I was in Michigan, I had actually placed mouse tubes all around my mother's property, which basically was just using dryer lint because they liked it for nesting material. I can't remember the chemical now that I treated it with, but basically it was something that would kill the ticks but didn't affect mammals. So it wouldn't kill the mice, but it would keep the mice and squirrels from carrying the ticks around.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a fan, but around here we have skunks, and I can always tell when someone's dog messes with the skunks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, where I was living in Michigan, in the alley right behind our building, there was an abandoned building, and we know there was a skunk who lived there. And yeah, every night around the same time, he would make a circle around the building checking for garbage. And there were a couple of times that one of the dogs happened to be out there and startled him.
I can always tell. There was one night, it was so bad. I'm like, why are my eyes watering? Why? And I had to close the whole side of the house because it's strong. Skunks.
And I remember as a kid,
kids?
Yeah, I remember as a kid 2 or 3 times bathing my grandma's dog in tomato juice because she had gone after a skunk.
But no, do you remember the markers, like the silly scent markers when we were kids, and they had like the skunk scented marker and the skunk scented scratch and sniff stickers?
Totally.
No. I don't remember the markers, but I remember having some stickers that had a skunk on them.
Yeah,
Smelly markers were awesome. They had blueberry, raspberry, I remember smelly markers.
There was always that one kid in the class that would eat the fucking marker.
Yeah, in the Midwest, again, a lot of people aren't aware of them, mostly because they're not up late at night. But even in the cities, skunks are not uncommon.
Oh, we have
skunks have adapted
here.
Pretty well to living among humans. They just are really good at not being seen.
So are trash pandas.
Oh, I hate those things. We were saying earlier.
I love trash pandas. They're so cute.
Oh, no. No, I do not tolerate raccoons at all. I have bad experiences with them.
They make laws for people like me to leave those things alone. I would shoot trash pandas on sight. But like Purple said, I have bad experiences with trash pandas.
Yeah, they ate one of my cats.
Ooh, that's bad.
They attacked my 18-year-old dog and then he died a week later.
Rabies?
No, he was just old, and he was already like my dog was tough. Cleophas was old, just old, and he died of old age. But he got in his final fight.
Hey, I mean, he went to Puppy Valhalla
Yeah.
at least.
Well, I
He was
heard one of my
died in battle.
cats. I heard one of my cats, and I heard the raccoons. But by the time I found him, it was too late, and there were 5 raccoons that had surrounded him.
Wow.
Oh, they're evil.
I've never heard of raccoons attacking. Like, raccoons are usually scavengers. Like, I've never heard of a raccoon actually bringing down prey.
Raccoons will hunt in packs, and when there's 5 or 6 of them, they will go after cats and dogs.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Oh yeah. In my neighborhood, we have generations of cats, and the raccoons, about once a week, they come and try to pick one of them off.
A single raccoon alone is a coward. When you get to have a group of them, they get really bold.
They're not scared of people.
I mean, that's like
They're
people, though.
I think about that all.
Yeah, but
Tupac
that's the
wrote a
problem.
song.
Is that raccoons generally do travel around in small packs, usually family units. And they'll spread out when they're searching for food. But when one of them finds something, they'll let out a cry, and then all of them will converge on the one that was letting out the alert.
So apparently Tupac was also talking about raccoons in his song called "You Ain't Shit Without Your Homeboys."
Totally.
I'm old
about
school,
right.
Like I'm from the era where if you were to fight someone, it was face to face. So to the '90s guys, if you would call a bunch of people, you were a wuss. Like if you called your friends over, you were kind of a wuss,
Yeah,
Like, the only time you could call for backup is if,
kept
like,
people under control. Go
the
ahead,
only
Keegan,
time you
sorry.
could call for no worries. The only time you could call for backup would be like if it was like the younger brother or sister got beat up by like older people. Then you could call in, your brother or sister, whatever. Or if they called in for backup first, then it didn't matter if they only brought one guy. You could bring 10. Like they violated the rules of engagement first, so fuck them.
Absolutely. We were cave people though. Like in high school, I think about it now. Like we would all have gone to jail for the way we acted if we had problems before school because we get our killing done before breakfast. We would get in scraps. We would literally get in fights and then walk right on campus and go to. That stuff's in the newspapers nowadays, or it's like on the news, and I'm like, dude, we did that when I was a kid, and no one cared. No one. It's because everyone has cell phones, and everybody records everything nowadays. So it's much more
speaking of being recorded, did you see that white bitch that was at the school board meeting, and she was like, my child will not come to school wearing a mask on Monday because they're going to do a mask mandate. She's like, I will bring every loaded gun I have and be ready. And they're like, you've gone over your time. I'm like, bitch, that was a terroristic threat. Like, you should be in jail.
Yeah,
and then later on, she said that she didn't mean that she was going to shoot people. Like, no, honey, that's what you freaking
That's what
said.
that meant.
Well, and that was just one episode that they had recorded, but this isn't a unique thing anymore, that a lot of people are going into school board meetings and threatening the school board members if they don't like something they're teaching.
That's just crazy.
If I
and a lot of it is about the vaccine and the mask mandates that, people are threatening violence if their kids are expected to wear a mask.
Yeah, but if I had said that at a board meeting, I would have literally got jumped by 4 or 5 LA County sheriffs. Like it's like you can't say that in LA. You can't just.
And they
people.
should be. Unfortunately, in a lot of areas, the sheriffs are taking the sides of the people who wear the nutcases with guns.
Oh, and here's another one. This guy, he needs a kidney transplant. And he got a call from them. They're saying, look, sorry, we see that you're not vaccinated. And in order to maintain your status on the donation list, you need to be vaccinated. And he fucking says, I'd rather die. And it's like, okay, bet, But then he goes and tries to get sympathy for it. They won't let me stay on the fucking transplant list. It's like, I'm sorry. You can't even be on the transplant list if you're fucking overweight, have certain chronic health issues, if you're a smoker or a drinker. Like, so why the fuck when there's a pandemic going on where you could be dropped immediately. It's like they give you that new kidney and then you get fucking COVID and end up dead 2 months later. That kidney could have gone to somebody that would have gone on to live a full life. But your
Yeah, the
stupid
organ
ass
donor
took it.
list has always been a calculation about who is likely to live the longest with this.
Because there's only so many kidneys to go around.
Yeah. I saw that
It
last
sucks,
night.
but, you know, it is what it is. But when you're making a deliberately stupid fucking choice, cool, Darwin Award, enjoy it. But don't then try to get sympathy for it.
Once you consent and turn down treatment, they can literally kick you out and be like, okay, bye. We got other people to treat. He, as an adult, he said, no, I do not want your treatment. Anywhere in America, if you deny treatment, they'll let you walk out of a hospital right then and there. So he's not different than anyone else. That's how you get treated when you deny treatment.
Released AMA, against medical advice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, if you didn't do what the doctor advised you to do, they are no longer under any obligation to help you.
I did that one time when I thought I had a concussion. They made me wait 8 hours. I walked out of the hospital. I'm still here. Spoiler.
Like, one thing I do have a bit of mixed feelings on, like, I get it, but it sucks, is, like, I think it was either St. Jude's or Ronald McDonald House, or it was one of them where they were basically, if you weren't vaccinated, like, they were, removing, like, if the kids weren't vaccinated, they were removing them from, like, treatment centers or whatever that they had for, like, their cancers or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah.
The parents chose not to get the kids vaccinated. Like, kids that young can't make the choice for themselves. So, like, it's on the parents, but then, like, it's a kid, the kid doesn't really have a say. So it's like kind of a fuck you to the parents for not vaccinating your fucking kid with cancer that is more likely to be a statistic if they get COVID,
Well, and while I feel bad for that kid, at the same time, the medical center has to minimize the people who are most likely to be spreading it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if the whole family's not vaccinated and the parents are coming in to visit that kid, what's the chance of them bringing it in?
Very high, considering the numbers right now.
Yeah. So I can understand that the hospital has to do that for the protection of the other patients.
Like I said, I get it. It just sucks because, like, the kids are too little to really be able to fucking, like, I do like one thing California's doing where they're passing a thing so, like, for things like vaccines, kids, I think as young as 12 can, but fact check me on this, can actually get certain medical treatments without parental consent. Like, I know 16 you can get, like 15 or 16 you can get, like, birth control and stuff without the need for parental consent. But like, I think, from 12 and up, it's things like vaccines. So if you have anti-vax parents, but you yourself want to be vaccinated, then, you can go ahead and get vaccinated without dealing with your parents.
Well, and even before the COVID had started, the fastest growing group getting vaccinated were kids 18 to 20. Because it was when they were finally getting out of their parents' house, and especially when they were going to college, that they were getting vaxxed up if their parents hadn't let them do it before.
We've had that law here for a while that if your parents are psycho, you can go to a doctor and be like, hey, my parents are crazy. I haven't had my shots. I haven't had, like, it's been like that since I was a kid.
Well, no, like, they're lowering it, the age. Like, it's going through the legislative process right now. I just heard about it the other day, where I think they're lowering it to, like, 12, where you can get something like a vaccination, without parental consent.
Well, and that's, I remember this back in the early 70s, that there was a list of, like, at least 6 or 8 vaccines that I wasn't allowed to go to school until I had proof that I had them all.
It's still like that.
Same. I mean, I didn't have to get, like, polio vaccine because, like, it had pretty much been eradicated, but, I had to have the MMR vaccine. I had to have chickenpox vaccine.
Okay.
hepatitis B vaccine. Like, I had to get a lot of vaccines while I was in school.
Jinzu said that was a Ronald McDonald house and they had a shared kitchen.
Yeah, so there you
yeah,
go.
I can understand that the other parents didn't feel safe using the kitchen with
I'm
people
gonna
who
eat a
were
moldy
unvaxxed.
Ew, why would you do that?
moldy sandwich is old.
Yeah, you don't want to eat anything moldy. That's yucky.
No floor food, no moldy food. I have a whole list. I have a whole
Yeah,
list.
no, he's talking about it's gonna smell like goblin's breath. Like, he's just in a silly mood today. And he's been so talkative lately. Like, every 5 minutes it's, hey mom, hey mommy. And
Okay.
it'll be just some other random thing. It's adorable.
We're approaching 4 hours here, so I think we should wrap up here. Sorry, Ollie, I know you just got here and you haven't had a chance to say much.
That's all right. I've been just sitting here playing Skyrim and listening to you and chiming in when I could.
Please, he's fucking Canadian. Like, of course he's not gonna be offended. Like, they are the most, like, chill, like, people that I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I keep saying that Minnesota is just Canada light. We've got Minnesota nice. It's what we're known for.
There's this one TikToker I follow, that Midwestern mom. She's fucking hilarious, and she's in Minnesota, and she is like, yeah, in Minnesota, like, we have all these things that are salads, but everywhere else they don't think they're a salad, like Jello salad, and then she was like, the Pikes and Poles, like, ice fishing derby or something. She's going to be singing the national anthem for it, and then she showed was it sundogs, that like halo effect around the sun from all the ice and snow, and she was like, yeah, I mean, it's only -20, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
And it just cracked me up. She's fucking hilarious.
I'm dropping a link in the side chat.
Pleasure, Jeff.
This was something produced by one of the Minneapolis TV stations, like back in the late 80s or early 90s, called How to Talk Minnesotan. And it was definitely a humor piece, but quite a lot of it rings true.
My brother and sister, my older brother and sister, grew up in Minnesota.
Culture.
Because that's where my dad lived when he was married to his first wife. And like, there's a town in Minnesota named after one of my ancestors. But yeah, I still want to go in there, like, with my ID one day and like rent a hotel room like in that town, just drop my ID on the counter with like just a little like kidding grin.
Okay, so let's go around. Anybody have anything to shill? Ollie?
Not really. No, I'm not really on any regular shows. I'm in some after parties. That's about it.
Yeah, I see you hanging around in Bees a lot.
Bees, I hang around on Bees streams and on Neil's streams. So that's about it.
Okay, Kitty,
I don't know
you
what's
got
going
anything coming up?
I've just been putting out content on TikTok lately, because it requires a lot less time investment. So if you want, you can follow me there, Kitty_the_atheist. So basically, just underscores instead of spaces for Kitty the Atheist. Baby, mommy.
Yeah, Kitty, if you could on Twitter send me your TikTok link later, I'll get that added into the shills list.
Yeah, sure. I can do that. Like, also, my like, one of my videos is pinned to my Twitter, which I'm Kitty the Atheist on Twitter as well. And my pinned tweet is actually a video that I did on TikTok, so you can find me there as well.
Okay, yeah, because I do try to put in all the descriptions, the links for everyone who appeared in the chats. So if anybody is watching this in the future, and I know apparently some people do, if you found any of our guests interesting, you can go and check them out.
Move.
Awesome, thank you. So really quick before we get out of here, the people are asking me to do something with this fork. So I'm going to do this right quick for all of you.
Okay, hold on. Let me enlarge you there. So
yep, okay, are we all ready? So see the fork? Ready?
Oh God.
I don't know why for you do this thing.
Okay.
Did you ever work in a sideshow?
That's what I do. Is I run a sideshow. I have the Faded Freak show that I run.
Yeah.
So there's
That's
that.
amazing.
Okay, I have
Like,
chronic
I get
sinus
it.
issues, so that just looked really painful to me. And I've just in the last 2 months I've had 3 COVID tests where I had to shove the swab 3 or 4 inches up there, and I just don't want to do that again.
That's why I screamed right now. I was like,
You can take me off screen.
Yeah, that really made me shudder. Okay, well, Slim, you want to show things out? You got shows coming up?
Yes, so Cookie McSweet Tits just did, we're doing butt stuff, is her new stream, and we're doing that on Tuesdays. And Monday I'm doing Crazy Sight stream, and then on Fridays and Sundays we're doing game night. So if somebody could be nice enough to post my channel link in the side chat, that'd be great. If not, I will do it a little bit later, but I'm on my phone, so it's a little bit hard for me to do that right now. But yes, I need like 15 more subs to get to 500. So if we could get a couple more people to sub to me, that would be wonderful. And also, as always, thank you, Purple, for letting me on here and letting me hang out with all of you. It's so wonderful to be on your stream.
Okay, well, I did have your links. Yeah.
We know all the lovely people in chat. I know one of them that's blue will be able to post that link.
Yep. Ollie, I don't see any kind of links for you in the shill list, so
don't worry about it. I don't really have any.
Okay, well, if there is anything you would want linked, you would have to send me a thing on Twitter, and I can add it later.
Okay.
And I, could also give that to Amiga Nuts, who is the official keeper of the list.
Yes, and if there's anybody out there who wants me to jump on their stream for to be a guest, let me know, please. Find me on the Discords or hit up anybody who's in here, and they should be able to let you know how to get a hold of me. I love being on streams, and I love sharing my knowledge and being a cyborg and my LEDs and my microchips and my temperature sensors and all that fun stuff.
Awesome.
Okay, Diana, you got anything coming up?
Yeah. Excuse me. I finished editing a transgendered chef episode today, and we'll upload it, and it'll be premiering tomorrow at 7 Eastern. And you folks will probably want to avoid it at all costs because it is involving liver and onions. Yay, everybody's favorite food. And as usual on Sundays at noon and Tuesdays at 7, there's Kate and I take on the airwaves, and sometimes Manda and Tina are with us.
It's a lot of fun.
Sylvia's always with us. Always, there. Yeah, you can't see Sylvia. I'm not decent for the camera right now, so that's why I'm not turning it on.
Yep.
All right. But
we need to make you a logo. You don't have a logo. We need to make you a logo. So hit me up and we'll make you a crazy cat lady logo. If you don't have one.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
I'll make you one there, honey. I can totally do that for you.
Oh, yay. Thank you. And then that's the other thing I've got to do. Thank you for reminding me. I've got to talk to Dick Dawson about how to set up audio for showing films. But that's another story entirely.
If he doesn't have time to show you that or help you with that, please let me know. And I'm pretty good at audio. That's what I went to college for, is audio production. So I can help you with that as well, honey.
What I'm trying to do is show a film on YouTube and have the panel on Google Meet as well as the audience on YouTube hear the film.
Yep.
Yeah, we can figure that out pretty easy.
Okay. Honestly, Dick wants to help everyone, so I think he overcommits. Plus, he has an autistic teenager to take care of, so his life is kind of random.
Yeah, that's why I don't pressure him for anything. I mean, the last time I was on the shills, we talked about that briefly, but it's like, Dick, you've got a life too, so
Yeah.
live that. But
yeah, so I mean, he means well, and he will help you eventually, but you could be waiting around a year for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's no big deal because I haven't bothered him yet. He just made the offer, and I just haven't bothered him about it yet. So
Okay.
no big deal there.
Yep. Okay, Will, what have you got coming up?
How's it going? I'm Godless Sewing. But before I go into my normal spiel, I would just like to point out to the 160 people that have watched the Edging for Christmas stream, come on down. Like, subscribe. The Godless Sewing channel is here for you. And that's for everybody because people have fallen in love with that stream for some reason. So, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. And
do it.
Right now, I'm actually in the middle of making a video on how to clean sewing machines and de-hoarding. I'm de-hoarding my house. So come on down. I'm in the middle of the video. I'm probably going to add way more to it today. So it probably won't be out until 1 or 2 West Coast time. But yeah, Godless Sewing channel. Come on down. It's just nothing but blasphemy, mayhem, and fun. And don't forget to choke on the selfie stick.
My kind of plan.
Oh, yeah.
Australia Day. I don't know you. Go stuff yourself. I had to end it that way. I had to. Oh no, but with all love, you guys are awesome. So go like and subscribe to everybody.
Yeah, you all are amazing. Thank you all.
Okay, yeah, and we'll be here again tomorrow night at 10 p.m. and next Wednesday again at noon Central Time. Probably be with the Shills Saturday at 6 on the Shills channel. And yeah, I tend to also pop up in Beast chats quite a lot.
Anytime I'm streaming that you jump in the chat, just let me know and I will definitely send you a link. Any of you, if you ever want to come on my streams, just let me know for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I get it.
And what little thing I had resembling a sleep schedule before pretty much got screwed up as I was going through COVID. So at this point, I seem to only be able to sleep during daylight hours, which is really fucking me over.
Oh, my.
Because it's like, now I'm not awake to do things during the day, so then I can't be socializing in the evening.
Yeah, huh?
That's what the Americans are good for, is we're here during your nighttime.
I'm American.
Do you know Slim?
What? Huh? What? Where? How? Never mind.
Do you know?
I'm
not gonna. But Cookie McSweet Tits reminds me of someone I knew that was named the Cobra Snake, and she was named the Cobra Snake for a reason. Oh wow, I love that.
Okay.
Oh.
And of course I need to thank all my Patreon supporters, Ox, who is also here in the side chat, and as I said, Ox and Robert X especially have been my self-appointed moderators, which I truly appreciate. And Lavender Lady, Greg Hartwick,
Who the hell is that?
Dog, Jyuni the Apostate, who did my avatar and did all my thumbnails for the Christmas marathon.
Yay.
And Vonrick and X from the Utah Outcasts. You know, I really do appreciate the couple dollars a month you all send me that, you know, I can keep things running here, and it's, you know, not taking money out of my pocket, which is good because I don't really have any money to begin with. So, yeah, I appreciate you helping me keep things going here. So with that, we will bid you all a good day, and we will see you all tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
Rock out with your clock.